Yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. What's going on? I am Jacadano, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. You know what's interesting about this is because I'm a proud son of Kenyan parents. Our country code in Kenya is 254. So this is episode 254. So this is my episode, huh? This is all me. All jokes aside, man, this is episode 254 on the Bitter Medicine podcast, huh? And we're part of a larger network, huh? Brought to you by KWAZ Radio. That's the network, huh? But if you're not all the way in tune with that, you can go ahead. We got Trigger Happy checks in. What's going on, Trigger Happy? Says Kenyan episode. Hey, it's the Kenyan episode. Am I wrong, Trigger? Am I wrong? Omera Nyaje? Huh? What's going on, Trigger Happy? Mambo Vipi? Habari gani? Namna gani? Huh? But yes, if you are not yet fully dove in, huh? Head first, of course, right? And you just want to just get with the better medicine, you can do so. Yes, not only on Saturday nights. I mean, come on. What are we, some part-timers? No, we do this 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Not 20. No. 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Huh? Trappy says, peace. Everything is well. Good. That's a very good one. That's a very good one, Trigger. That's a very good one. Back to what I was saying about the Bitter Medicine podcast. We are at this 25-8. Like-minded individuals just like yourself, go ahead and download the Discord app. Huh? It's a purple app. It's D like dominoes, I-S, C like corruption, huh? O-R-D, huh? Discord. Go ahead and download that and add the Bitter Medicine podcast. There's 99 members. You could be the 100th. And that way you can get involved on all things dealing with everything that deals with us. Remember, African solutions for African problems. How that works is you can be involved, huh? Not just on Saturday nights, but literally all throughout the week. That's the Discord app. And then go ahead and search the Bitter Medicine podcast. And that way you can get with Trigger Happy, me, Brother Koku, huh? I mean, you name it, huh? Greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, rams, lambs, hogs, mogs. Nonetheless, go ahead and download that, and you can be a 100th member. You can also share topic ideas. Huh? Are you listening? You can share topic ideas that we would discuss on Saturday nights on Shoot the Breeze. Did you know that? So go ahead and download the Discord app. Also, make sure you hit the like button. I'll be back to tell you about how important that like button is. Huh? I'll be back. You can share the episodes. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. But there's, hitting the like button. It's doing just more than just releasing maybe some of the air bubbles in your guys's what do they call that? Cartilage, huh? In your finger cartilage. You guys can let me know if there are finger cartilages. I'm sure there are many of you that are, I studied the top of the top in anatomy. I know. You guys are ready to always correct Jacadero, huh? How about this? Correct yourself while we go ahead and get those new and unfamiliar faces and ears familiar with who we are at KWAZ Radio. Huh? Is that okay? Is that a good one? Let's go!
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio. Welcome to the Bitter Medicine Podcast, where it's all about Black empowerment. Our show focuses on Black news and entertainment, arts, science, economics, history, people, and strategies that uplift, empower, and motivate Africans within the diaspora. And now, your host, whose favorite color is black, Goku.
Welcome back to the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I am your host, Koku. Just want to remind you guys before we get the show rolling that this show is part of a podcast network called KWAZ Radio. There are other shows on the network you are invited to tune into.
This is D Webb with the Harsh Reality Podcast, asking you to tune in where we tackle the news of the day that affects our community, only on KWAZ Radio.
Peace, family. This is Oni, inviting you to listen to the Pro-Black Perspective, where black problems are addressed with black solutions.
Greetings, fam. Tune in to The Learning Curve with me, the Revolutionary Matron on KWAZ Radio.
You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio.
I gotta ask Coco where he gets who did that voice, huh? Because that's such a distinguished voice. You are listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast only on KWAZ Radio. Hey, what? Imagine if that guy narrated your life, huh? You get up to attend to your totos. He gets up angry at the world. You run out of gas. He was negligent on his responsibilities. Now him and his vehicle are suffering. Coco, what's going on, big dog? You need to let me know. Don't be greedy. Let me know who did that voice. Huh? Omera, don't be greedy. Please don't. Speaking of greed, let's talk about why you should not be greedy. You're an African, and a sane African at that. Go ahead and be the opposite of greedy. Be plentiful. And hit the like button. Hit the like button. It is in your DNA. Omera, come on. Huh? Hit the like button. What? Jacadero, why should I hit the like button? I'm only here to hear you and hear the topics of the week. Yeah. I know. I got trigger happy laughing over here. You should hit the like button because it serves not just you, but other like-minded individuals that may not know that this exists. Not just the Better Medicine Podcast, not just Shoot the Breeze, but KWAZ Radio and everything that comes with it. How can they know about that? We need to enter the algorithm. The best, easiest, and cheapest way is literally just hitting the like button. Come on. Huh? Don't you want to do something for your people? The most revolutionary that you can do, the most revolutionary thing that you can do is, as far as cyber context goes, on this intranet, on Aliko Dangote's intranet, go ahead and hit the like button. What's wrong with you? Let's go ahead and let's get into the chat here before we begin the show. The matron, the learning curve with the matron. The matron greets everybody. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. It's the revolutionary matron. What's up? What's up, matron? You guys hit the like button, of course. And then we say peace to everybody. What's going on, Trigger Happy? Trigger Happy, you'll like today's episode. You will like it. You will love it. You may not be able to get enough of it. Woo-wee! Trigger Happy, I might be a rapper. Who knows, huh? I'm a sane rapper though, huh? You like it, you love it. You might not be able to get enough of it, huh? Make sure that you wear a mitt before you put your hands in the oven. All right. Let's not get carried away, Jacadero. All right. How we do this, for those that don't know, is we bring topics to you, and we discuss. If you want to discuss, not just in the chat, which you can, just like Trigger Happy, just like the matron is doing, you can always click the StreamYard link. You see this link right here that I'm showing on the screen? It's pinned to the top of the chat. It says StreamYard right there, huh? And you can create any type of name. We don't care. We just want to hear your thoughts And we want all black walks of life. I know some of the panelists in the past said, no, we don't need to hear from all black walks of life. But me personally, I do. I don't get to interact with the Hebrew Israelites. I don't get to interact with the black indigenous of the United States. I don't get to interact with the Nation of Islam all the time. Please, whoever you are, maybe even a black atheist, we don't really have to get into the spiritual ideologies, but nonetheless, whatever black walk of life that you are from, you're representing, we want to hear from you. Believe it or not, I do. I want to hear from you because at the end of the day, right, this show is because of you guys. So please send that message out there. We want all black walks of life, men, women, tall, short, big back, skinny. It doesn't matter. If you're an African with a K, not with a C, please hit that StreamYard link, or you can also just go ahead and share your thoughts into the chat. Huh? All right. That being said, we've gotten all bases covered. Let's go ahead and begin to cover topic number 1. We're talking about African leaders, guys. We are talking about African leaders. I beg. Shoot the breeze. Topic number 1. How they destroy good African leaders. Huh? So you're probably wondering, where are we going with this, matter? Where are we going? Well, just to give you guys some background, African leaders, it's oftentimes that, especially if you guys go on YouTube, if you search any YouTube essays on African leaders, bro, it's going to be more than a majority of the time you're going to see a YouTube essay that is not positive. It's going to be, whether it's deserved or not, how often you got to ask yourself when you YouTubed an African president, prime minister, any sort of leader, right? Politician, socio-political leader, nonetheless. And you come away from that YouTube essay and you're like, oh my God, wow, I want to learn more about them. Unless they're dead. And it's usually if they have something good to say, that person, he or she, has probably passed away. It's really unfortunate. So we asked the question on Shoot the Breeze topic number 1, how they destroy good African leaders. And this leads us to a video on Instagram. It's a reel. Let's go ahead and watch. I'll play it twice, and then we will discuss. Please feel free to go ahead and comment in the chat. And if you are feeling very special, which as you should, you woke up as an African, so please feel free to feel special. Go ahead and hit that StreamYard link, and then we will go ahead and discourse. Discourse? Like the Discord? Come on. You feel what I'm saying? All right. Let's do it. I'm going to be quiet. I'm here all night, guys. I'm here all night. Let's go to Instagram. Stand by.
Is an African leader fighting for his people is to destroy his image. British broadcaster Sky just released one of the most blatant hit pieces I've seen in recent memory. It was on Captain Traore of Burkina Faso, and it was led by a black Sudanese journalist called Yusra El Bagir, a detail that was most definitely calculated. Pay attention. Captain Traore is the most popular president in Africa for good reason. He distanced himself from colonial powers, expelled French troops, took control of his country's resources, and formed the Sahel Alliance with Mali and Niger. It was a question of time before the character assassination would begin. Within the first minute of this mini-doc, Traore's support is called a cult. Burkina Faso is labeled the deadliest terrorist location in the world. Then the defense forces are called vigilante groups, and the Sky journalist claims her interview was controlled and engineered, emphasizing an iron grip and the crackdown on dissent. If you closed your eyes, you'd think they were talking about Adolf Hitler. They're pre-programming you to accept the future narrative that they must save the people of Burkina Faso from a tyrant, the way America saved Libya from Gaddafi and is now saving Iran from Khomeini. When this journalist mentioned similarities to communist China and the Soviet Union, why didn't she just say China and Russia? Because communist and Soviet conjure up the boogeyman the US and UK used to wage carnage across the world, from Vietnam to Afghanistan, Congo to Cuba. When she claimed 60% of Burkina Faso is under jihadist control, Traore laughed, asking, "Where did you get that from?" When you control the investigators, the data, the websites, and the verification systems deemed official, you can make any lie a reality. These people actually showed a black African woman digging in a massive rubbish dump and said, "This is how many Burkinabes live." How about create a doc showing the amazing things Traore has done? But that doesn't fit the narrative. As Traore said, Burkina Faso is at war. In war, you don't allow anyone to destabilize the troops' morale. But he missed one detail. Africa has been at war for 500 years. War with the society who sent that African woman to tarnish his image. A society that has always been the enemy of African prosperity, because their prosperity depends on our misery. So you telling us how to free ourselves is quite literally insane. And as for Yusra El-Bagir, remember Sankara, Lumumba, Gaddafi, Olympio, 22 African leaders, many heroes, eliminated, trying to help our people. History will not look favorably on the sons and daughters of Africa who helped destroy our heroes. I will send everyone signed up to my newsletter and podcast a link to the full documentary, as well as additional thoughts and history on this matter. Comment podcast so I can DM you the information. The first step to eliminate an African leader fighting for his people is to destroy his image. British broadcaster Sky just released one of the most blatant hit pieces I've seen in recent memory. It was on Captain Traore of Burkina Faso, and it was led by a black Sudanese journalist called Yusra El-Bagir, a detail that was most definitely calculated. Pay attention. Captain Traore is the most popular president in Africa for good reason. He distanced himself from colonial powers, expelled French troops, took control of his country's resources, and formed the Sahel Alliance with Mali and Niger. It was a question of time before the character assassination would begin. Within the first minute of this mini-doc, Traore's support is called a cult. Burkina Faso is labeled the deadliest terrorist location in the world. Then the defense forces are called vigilante groups, and the Sky journalist claims her interview was controlled and engineered, emphasizing an iron grip and a crackdown on dissent. If you closed your eyes, you'd think they were talking about Adolf Hitler. They're pre-programming you to accept the future narrative that they must save the people of Burkina Faso from a tyrant, the way America saved Libya from Gaddafi and is now saving Iran from Khomeini. When this journalist mentioned similarities to communist China and the Soviet Union, why didn't she just say China and Russia? Because communist and Soviet conjure up the boogeyman the US and UK used to wage carnage across the world, from Vietnam to Afghanistan, Congo to Cuba. When she claimed 60% of Burkina Faso is under jihadist control, Traore laughed, asking, "Where did you get that from?" When you control the investigators, the data, the websites, and the verification systems deemed official, you can make any lie a reality. These people actually showed a black African woman digging in a massive rubbish dump and said, "This is how many Burkinabes live." How about create a doc showing the amazing things Traore has done? But that doesn't fit the narrative. As Traore said, Burkina Faso is at war. In war, you don't allow anyone to destabilize the troops' morale. But he missed one detail. Africa has been at war for 500 years. War with the society who sent that African woman to tarnish his image. A society that has always been the enemy of African prosperity, because their prosperity depends on our misery. So you telling us how to free ourselves is quite literally insane. And as for Yusra El-Bagir, remember Sankara, Lumumba, Gaddafi, Olympio, 22 African leaders, many heroes, eliminated, trying to help our people. History will not look favorably on the sons and daughters of Africa who helped destroy our heroes. I will send everyone signed up to my newsletter and podcast a link to the full documentary, as well as additional thoughts and history on this matter. Comment podcast so I can DM you the information.
The prettiest people do the ugliest things, huh? Wrote and said by Kanye West, huh? On the All Falls Down track. And why I say that is because Miss Yusra El-Bagir, this is a good-looking woman. Why do you need to do that? What's wrong with you, Yawa? But enough about my thoughts, huh? Once again, I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku. If you're just tuning in, this is Shoot the Breeze, episode 254 on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Hit the like button. Before you do anything else, hit the like button. Come on. Let's not be greedy. What we are on is Shoot the Breeze topic number 1, how they destroy good African leaders. What you have playing in the background and what you had heard was the Merc off of Instagram. You guys can go ahead and follow this individual. Shout out to all our content creators, especially those of us that are doing everything that we can to hold the line. I like his stuff. The Merc explains to us that I think he explains she's Sudanese or Sudanese background. You know, she went into Burkina Faso and tried to have what they call in the United States a smear campaign in tarnishing the image of Ibrahim Traore. I got to give him his goddamn respect. Captain Ibrahim Traore. And he's pointing out on how she uses narratives that those in the West are familiar with painting a boogeyman. Before we get into your guys' thoughts here, let's go ahead and greet some of us. No de grito. Anthony greets us. He says, in first, Anthony, what's up? Anthony says, Bitter Medicine Podcast. Peace, brothers and sisters. Abibi Fahodie. Abibi Tumi. What's going on? Peace to you as well, Anthony. He says, Jacadero, peace, brother. Habarigani. Simbaya, manze. Simbaya. Not bad. Leo ilikuwa noma. Today was not bad. Nilikuwa. I wish I could have you guys share my life, but you know, for obvious reasons, I can't get too much into it. But just know that nilikuwa busy. Nimeamka about 6 a.m. and then my day started since then. But otherwise, I'm driving the force, helping you guys drive the force here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. So that's how I've been. Na wewe pia habari gani, Anthony? All right, and let's go into the chat here. Triggappy says it's to a point where they feed on our demise. They feed on it like parasites, like demons, like vampires. That's their rituals. They need us to constantly die for them to live. That's what I say to that. That's why I love giving them hell. Triggappy says, if you're not getting pressed like that from the West, you're not doing enough for your people. It's expected that our heroes are their villains. Absolutely. Woo! Absolutely. Let's go, Trigger Happy. The Revolutionary Matron says they will always use one of us to destroy the best of us. Sadly, this useful idiots. Huh? Matron, don't worry. I'll give you an accent, huh? This useful idiot doesn't realize I know you said he, but she's being used by colonial interests to further their agenda and that she has no place in their plan. I think you're talking about the journalists. Let's hope. And then peace to the chat. And then they give greetings. Matron and Anthony give greetings to each other. What a issue, huh? This leads me back into, again, if you want to be a part of the verbal conversation, pinned to the top of the chat is the StreamYard link. Go ahead and click on that. And our matron says to affirm, yes, I meant to say she. Oh, we know. We got you, matron. This leads me to, I tried to search it. Maybe I just wasn't typing in the right words, but there was a time that I think it was Brother Malcolm. I believe it was Brother Malcolm, I'm sure, because Anthony's mind is loaded for information. But there's a video clip, I believe, of Malcolm, and this reporter is asking just a crowd of Black people about what their thoughts are on something. I can't remember what it was for. And there's a brother there that just straight up, I can't remember if he just outright bashes Black people. And again, this is a brother. I don't know if he outright bashes Black people, but he doesn't say anything good. He doesn't say anything in the favor of Black people. And then Malcolm has to step in and say, you see that? And again, I think it's Malcolm because maybe because I've seen so many black and white videos of Malcolm, I think Malcolm is in the video and he might not even be in the video. But then somebody steps in, and I believe it's Malcolm, and it says, you see that? You see that? There's always one sellout brother that's ready to sell us out. But I'm here. I'm glad that I'm here today to catch this brother. I don't even know who this brother is, but no, he does not speak for us. Blah, 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 blah. We need more of that. YouTube, what I'm about to say, please do not flag this. Do not flag this. Do not flag this. One of the things that we get upset about, and I say we, I'm going to speak for us, we get really upset about is the way that the Jewish community worldwide handles anti-Jewish rhetoric. Okay, Anthony says, yeah, I remember that clip. Yeah, I don't know if Brother Malcolm was in the clip, but maybe you guys can let me know exactly where I can find this because I would love to play it. I tried to search for it. I couldn't exactly, but I'm sure you guys are probably doing some of your homework right now, just to get me that clip. If you want to put it into the chat as well, I can copy and paste it. We could try to play it. But back to this, the global Jewish community. You say anything, just words. You say anything, bro, you are immediately met with resistance, possibly even like a whole smear campaign, and you might just be a regular civilian. Quiti says, peace to everybody. Peace. What's going on, Quiti? Back to what I was saying. You say anything about the worldwide Jewish community, and it doesn't even have to be anything worldwide. You can just say, hey, yo, this specific Jewish person, their funny style. The resistance that you meet is crazy. Now, some of us get upset at that, and I can understand that. I can understand it, right? And I'm with you. But where's our collective? Where's our collective? Huh? Anthony said, I'll be up a little later getting my Sunday soul food ready for tomorrow. Hey, man, save me a plate, Anthony. Don't be greedy. Come on, what is wrong with you, Omera? Huh? What is not happening? But where's our collective to immediately stop something like that? You can bash African leaders, and I get it. Some of it is pretty warranted. I get it, guys. I get it. But whether it's African spiritual systems, African leaders, even the United States current president, the two-time president, his name, they shall not be named, huh? It's like they like to say from a show that I used to watch. He's been bashing the Somali community here in the United States, bro. I don't know how long, but every time he opens his mouth, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse, to the point now where you have people that even question if Somalis are majority inbred. I want you guys to hear me clearly. The president of the United States has bashed Somali immigrants in the United States and Somali Americans in such a way where you have people that will even question if Somalis themselves come from a population of inbreds. That's sick, disgusting, uncalled for, and unnecessary. You understand that? If he were to do the same to that global Jewish community that I talk about, I don't even know if a Charlie Kirk type execution would even be too, what would it say? Would be too gentle, So where's our collective? Collectively, we should have been like, hey, yo, president, you foul. You are foul. And check this out. Next time you utter that stuff, bro, any city that you visit, we raise in hell. We should do that, but we don't. Some of us, and I say some of us, I know what I'm about to say next. Some of us don't consider the foundational Black Americans and ADOS as brothers and sisters. Okay, that's fine. But some of us Black people here in the United States said, yeah, I seen it with my own eyes on social media. Yeah, them Somalis can get out. I hope the 14th Amendment is revoked and reversed. I need Somalis to leave. Yeah, them marrying their siblings, them marrying their cousins. What? That's crazy. Bro, we need a collective. This guy is just pointing out like, hey, yo, our sister, quote unquote, is going to Burkina Faso and trying to do her best to smear the name of Ibrahim Traore. Let's get to this chat before I get too much in my imagination. Tragapi says, we have not built a global community to be that of a community that is of high value to others where you can't cross the line with us under any circumstance. But where does it start, Trigger? But where does it has to start somewhere. These things have to start somewhere. This is a call and response, but I'm not new. This is not a new thing, guys. Khalid Muhammad was saying this back in the 90s, 80s. Malcolm was saying this how many years ago? Garvey was saying this over 100 years ago. I can only imagine the ones that before him. Bro, this is crazy. The president of the United States is dissing one of our own so much that people are calling into question their genetic makeup. That's the beginning of a genocide. Did you guys know that? I'm sure those of you guys that went to school in the United States, you'll know that, hey, how things started in Germany during the Mustache Man era was, hey, they, constantly said things on the radio that were discriminatory towards the Jewish community. And so that way people were like, you know what? Yeah. If you wipe a couple of them out, man, it'd actually be doing us a favor. Tragapi also adds, which should be an indictment on the Somali government not checking Trump, basically. Thank you. Hold on. We gonna give you one. Thank you. Which further shows such governments are Berlinist countries. Matron says, we've been taught to see ourselves as individuals. We behave in rugged individualism more than any other group. Also, they put money behind their ideas. We don't en masse finance pro-blackness. Not yet. But, these things can start, though. I understand what I'm about to say is controversial. I get it. But we've seen on a micro level on what happens when we practice group economics. Dr. Umar Ifatunde is about to open a school if it hasn't been opened already. Now, sure. Was it 15 plus years later? Yes. I'm not, guys, this is not in support or in denial of that guy. I'm just saying that's what happens when Black people pool their money together. That's one of the things. The other thing, homeboy from Atlanta, I believe, let's say just Georgia, that literally had crowdfunding to continue his invention of using plastic and turning it into fuel. That brother, I can forget his name. Brother with the locks. I think his name is Julian. That's group economics. Again, these things are on a micro level, but why not these things on a macro level? What's really stopping us? Seriously, though. Serious. Tragapi says, yep, every genocide starts with a strong media campaign. It's like a war of attrition. It never starts immediately with guns. Good. So we understand this. Their media campaign is not going to stop. I don't expect it to. In fact, good for them. Where's our media campaign? And where is our resistance to say, check this out. You tiptoe into those waters. We have crocodiles, piranhas, sharks waiting for you. And we don't miss. We don't miss. Now, I will say, out of everything that I am saying, as far as checking things in the United States, the Black community says nipping things in the bud. Is it nipping in the butt or nipping in the bud? You guys let me know. But I will say, I have seen instances where people and groups are checking things in the bud, or at least saying, hey, you're not going to do this. I think I've brought up a few weeks ago on how Omaha has a Black self-defense group. And if you actually call their number, towards the end of the show, I'll give you guys their information. They have an Instagram. You guys can reach out to them. So they teach self-defense classes. They teach you on how to, because Nebraska is a concealed carry state. So I don't believe, if memory serves me correct, I don't believe that you have to have a permit. So they teach you on how to pretty much live your life practicing the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. But nonetheless, this group, if you call their number, because it's happened, somebody here in North Omaha, they were pulled over for they didn't know what. And as soon as they were pulled over, they called that number, and men in fatigues came. Black men came in fatigues, and they handled the police. And are you ready to hear this next part, guys? You guys are ready? It'll bring a smile to Trigger's voice, Trigger's face, excuse me. Whatever interaction that they had with police, the police left. They didn't even get to like, oh, let's run your license plate, your driver's license, ma'am. No. The Facebook video shows the police just, oh, okay, all right, we're out of here. Do you see that though? These things can happen. I watched this on Facebook Live here in Omaha, Nebraska, North Omaha to be specific. Trigger Happy gives a fire flames, bro. Let me tell you something, Trigger. Watching that was one of the best things I've ever seen. The best things I've ever seen in my life, because you read about the stories on, let me get this guy's name right. Robert F. Williams, the former president of the NAACP, on his chapter in North Carolina, and how, they also practiced the right to bear arms, and how they were able to disarm a sheriff, and some white guy was watching. And some white guy started crying, saying, what's this country come to where our own police officers have to put down their guns? Oh my God. Oh, what's that Tyrese meme? What more do you want from me? Pussy. Yeah, this happened this year, by the way, guys. I watched it this year. If you're in the Discord, I'm going to do everything that I can to try to remember where exactly I watched that. I know the guy. Yeah, I guess I can put this out. I know the guy, that the head of the, it's the Black Alliance, I believe is their name, but the BAA. I know the head of it, so I can just ask him, like, hey, can I get that video? Because she went live when she did it. She was like, hey, I'm being pulled over, but I already called the Black Alliance because they said, hey, they're here for North Omaha. And man, they was quick. Listen, they was quick. And what you doing with our sister? Oh, okay. What'd you pull her over for? Next thing you know, cops are leaving. Goodbye, pussies. You see, this is on a macro level, guys. I understand, like, hey, there's only can be so much, here on a micro level. I understand that these are things that can be, it's kind of complicated on how things can be done on a macro level, but on a micro level, imagine that's just Omaha. Imagine every city having that, and then eventually turning it into, hey, any city that you go to, any major city where there's a considerable number of Black peoples, bro, you're not going to be able to get away with the stuff that you were able to get away with in the past. Pretty solid. And again, it goes back to checking things, nipping things in the bud. We can do these things, guys. We can do these. I only just brought you guys one example. I wish I had that video. Again, if you follow in the Discord, I'll do my best tomorrow on Sunday to have you guys watch that for yourselves. And it's one of the most beautiful things ever. Beautiful. Our matron also gives a fire flame emoji. What's up? Trigger Happy says, basically, we need our own paramilitary force. You got it. Speaking of a force, man, there's a force to be reckoned with that just checked into the panel. Brother Bakari, what's going on? Peace, brother. How are you? And what say you on what you've seen? What you've heard?
Peace. Can y'all hear me?
Loud and clear, my guy.
Okay, what's going on? Look, I ain't gonna be on here long, man. I just stopped in and say, what's up, man? I wish I came down here. Came back to Mississippi to bury my oldest brother. So even though while I'm here with family,
man, you're cutting out big time. You're cutting out big time, brother Bakari. I don't know if you can hear me. You're cutting out big time. Try again.
Hold on one second. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you very clear. Very clear.
Okay, what I said was that's why I won't be on here long. I came home to Mississippi to bury my oldest brother, but I made sure I had to take time to check out the Bitter Medicine Forecast podcast family. So I just came over here to say what's up and peace and love. Did you hear me? I guess not.
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, loud and clear. I didn't know if
okay.
you had more to say.
No, no, that was it. I just wanted to come make sure I take some time to holler at y'all, holler at my people, the pound on the. If I can, I'll be peeping in. But I'm here with a lot of family right now. But if I can, I'll be checking you out. All right.
I appreciate that, brother Bakari. Rest in peace to rest in power to you, and condolences to you and your loved ones, man. Thank you for checking in, man. That means a lot. You see, guys, huh? People are checking in even though they have more important individual duties. I love that. I love it. Trigger Happy says in the chat, a lot of black people talk about how Black Wall Street can't happen because they took it. The missing link is a strong paramilitary force to protect company or community building and nation building transitions. You know what's interesting, Trigger Happy? Towards the end of the show, I always represent a certain organization here out of Omaha, Nebraska. And guess what we've been doing in reference to Black Wall Street, aka Tulsa, Oklahoma. Huh? So the people that say this, they have no idea about that organization. If you're curious, not you, Trigger Happy, I know you always listen, but if you the one that's listening are curious, stay towards till the end of the show when we give the shout outs, and you'll come to know about that organization, and then you can see for yourself. You can see for yourself what's been happening with Tulsa, Oklahoma. It can't happen again. Okay, don't hold your breath. Trigger Happy says, rest in power to your brother Bakari. Absolutely. The matron also gives her condolences, says, condolences, brother Bakari. May he rest well with the ancestors and draw down his strength. Ashe. Ashe and Amun. Let's go. Yeah, just, back to this clip. I almost forgot what the Shoot the Breeze topic number 1 was. But back to this clip. Yeah, again, this smear campaign. Trigger Happy said it right. Hey, if you're not getting bad press from the West, you're probably not doing something that's noticeable that the West will say, hey, yo, huh? So this is how they destroy good African leaders. And then they're sending, again, the prettiest people do the ugliest things. They're sending a pretty journalist. Ash, why? How much money are they paying you, Yawa? How much money are they paying you, Yawa, to do that? That's not good. Huh? Who is your father? Have you talked to your father about this? What would he say about these things? Terrible. Terrible. Eesh. Very ugly indeed. Now, here's some good news. Yes, we don't only give you the bad. We give you some good news about this. Trigger Happy says, I know, right? They got to make sure they get a good-looking coon. Hey, yo, Trigger Happy, do me a favor, please.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
Trigger Happy says, ugly on the inside, which is what matters the most. Very, very ugly indeed, huh? There's good news. I had talked to you guys and I had said, anytime that you open up YouTube and you try to search for a YouTube documentary, YouTube essay on an African leader, whether political, socio-political, nonetheless, you'll get more than half of the time a negative YouTube essay. For those that enjoy content creation, this is your call. This is your call to action right now. You're here. Let me clear my voice. Let me clear my throat. If you're interested in content creation, if you love Africa, if you love Black people worldwide, if you hate the way that the West has portrayed our leaders, past and present, this is your job now. There's plenty of African leaders, plenty of Caribbean leaders, plenty Black American, African American leaders. Start making some YouTube essays in the positive light of these people. I think that there's now like a running cliche of, men don't get, especially Black men don't get their flowers until after they're passed away. We got some awesome leaders right now. Troy is one of them. You want to go ahead and create a positive. YouTube essay about Traore, Assimi Goita of Mali, homeboy from Niger, Tishiani Abdul Rahman. And I mean, the list goes on. You know, a homeboy that's now the prime minister who was the vice president. No, I don't know if he's the prime minister anymore. I think he's the head of the parliament. Osman Sonko. I mean, whoever you want. We just need more positivity as far as media campaigns. Cool, there's a bad media campaign about us. Okay. Are they the only ones with access to softwares that can edit videos? No. This is your call to action. Whoever you are, you're an African that loves content creation. Yo, and if you need financing, hit us up in the Discord. I'd be more than happy to go ahead and shoot you 10, 5, whatever it is. That's from my mouth myself. Join the Discord as well. That's the Bitter Medicine Podcast. And say, hey, I'm creating a YouTube essay in a positive light about this and this person, man or woman. And man, I come to think of it, speaking of women, Mia Motley has been standing on business for damn near a decade, if I can remember right. She was literally the leading voice on why Barbados became independent from the United Kingdom. The leading voice. And now she's literally leading the brigade and jabbed her elbow into Andrew Holness, the prime minister of Jamaica's stomach, and said, hey, do you see the way that we got independent from United Kingdom? Isn't it time that you guys also do the same? Huh? Omera Niaje? Maybe this is also the time for some of you guys to say, hey, yo, we need to see a YouTube essay about Mia Motley as well. And again, Black, Caribbean, African, and I say Black just in the United States. I know that, Anthony says, no, we're African too. Yes. I'm just saying for context reasons, Anthony, please don't get on this panel and say, hey, we're Africans. I know African people are worldwide. I know. I'm just saying for context. This is your call. This is your action. Your call to action right now. Content creators alike. Let's counter this. Leave the other things to us. Here in Omaha, Nebraska, we have a defense force against our own police. Woo! God, I love being from Omaha. You guys can hear the enthusiasm all day. Let's go ahead and let's get into the second Shoot the Breeze topic. You guys got me hyped. Huh? You're already getting me in my imagination. Huh? Let's go ahead with the second Shoot the Breeze topic. Oh, I love being Black, man. Love being African. All right. Shoot the Breeze topic number 2. Believe it or not, I think this is from Trigger Happy himself. I think so. It's about being kind, huh? It's about being kind. Again, if you're just joining in, I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. This is on the Bitter Medicine Podcast, part of a larger network called KWAZ Radio. Hit the like button. That should be the first thing that you should do once you're new here. Just hit the like button. That's it. That's all we're asking for. We don't need money from your pocket. No. We don't need your house title. No. We don't need the make and model of your vehicle. No. We don't need your blood type. No. We don't need what your ancestors' favorite food was. No. All we need is for you to hit the like button. That's it. Oh my gosh, Jacadero, that's not a lot of things to ask for. I know. So can you step up to it? Hit the like button. All right. This one comes from Trigger Happy in the Discord, believe it or not. So that just lets you know on we really put action to our words, huh? Because when I tell you guys to join the Discord, I really mean it. Because look what Trigger Happy is doing. He's adding a topic that's going to be covered now. Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 asks, should we continue being kind? Before we go to the video for this, let's talk about it. For those of us, I can only talk about the United States because I grew up in the United States. Really. I spent some time in Kenya, but I really grew up in the United States. So a lot of my examples come from the United States, right? I hope you guys aren't mad at me. All right. Here in the United States, one of the things that you learn from preschool is to be kind to others. Is to be kind. I don't know if they still have this, but it was called Character Counts. Give me, Trigger, Matron, give me some time to breathe on this, before we get into this this video, especially since I have no panelists, so give me some time to breathe. I know Trigger's like, go ahead, big dog. I know Matron's like, you got it, brother, you got it. You know, in preschool, you're taught. In kindergarten, you're taught. All the way up until high school, that's when they stop teaching you because they say, okay, whoa, you guys have a brain that you guys can use. But in elementary school, you're taught, hey, just be kind. Just be kind. Be kind. No matter what's happening to you, be kind. I think the Character Counts had like 5 or 6 pillars, you know, and kindness, I believe, was one of them, and caring was the other one. So if you don't use your African sanity, somebody can slap you across the face. But the American programming says, hey, be kind to that person. Don't smack them back. You can walk into literal traps. But the programming from the American full system says, hey. No, don't rebel. Be kind. And what can happen, looks like it doesn't, but what can happen is that you can grow into an adult and you become what they call a doormat. You guys see the doormats before you guys enter into somebody's home. Sometimes it says welcome. Sometimes it says karibu. Sometimes it says bawoni. Sometimes it says sangonini. Whatever it says. Basically, it's welcoming you into the home. And what do people do on a doormat? They step on it. And so if you stay with this American programming, you can become programmed to just become a doormat. So I say all that to lead us into this video, which takes us to Instagram. Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 asks, should we continue to be kind? Tragapi says, Black people should be kind, but we should stay dangerous too. Hey, Omera Niaje. There we go. Again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 asks, should we continue to be kind? Let's go to Instagram, and then we'll get into, we finally have a panelist as well. Hopefully he stays. Hopefully he stays. Let's go to Instagram, where they talk about potential kindness and how it potentially could have ended in turmoil. Let's take a watch. Oh, roll. give me some time, guys. Technical difficulties. Be kind to me. How about that, Be kind to me. Let's see if I can get the other video that this is from, Stand by. All right. Here we go.
Man was found hung in Raleigh, North Carolina yesterday, August the 15th, Saturday. He was near a Caribbean festival that was happening. Police are investigating it as a suicide and probably going to rule it as a suicide. That's very quick to come to that judgment, considering how they take their time when it comes to investigations. But they're already ready to deem it a suicide. And this brings me to a larger point. There was a young Black trucker who posted this video on TikTok, and it was 3:00 in the morning. He's a night driver, and he was talking about how 2 white men in this truck and trailer, like one of the men waved him down and was like, hey, my brother is stuck in the bathroom. Can you help me get him out? But he wanted him to come to this side of the truck where it's darker, no one can see. And if there are any cameras there, he wouldn't be visible. So this young Black man was like, no. And shortly after he said no, while he was recording this, the other man came out of the bathroom. Now, I thought your brother was stuck in that bathroom. How is he all of a sudden not stuck? And then they eventually pull off, and the young Black man articulates that, he feels that the guy was trying to get him behind that truck so that he could overtake him in some way, maybe with a gun, and that they would hang him. Because if I'm not mistaken, this took place in Mississippi, and this was this week, which brings me to my larger point. If you go on any social media app and type Black people helping, you're going to see scores of videos of Black people helping people of other races, or people of other races talking about how they were helped by a Black person or were shown an immense amount of kindness. And these videos are made because white supremacists have done an effective job at running a smear campaign against the entire Black community for hundreds of years, saying we're violent and disparaging us and to beware of us, and we steal and we kill and everything, right? The meanest Black person you know will help you out. They're going to cuss you out, beginning, middle, and end, but they're still going to help you. And there's been all this discourse about, oh, know your friend group, and as you should, you know, and be aware of your surroundings. I don't think that's it. You know, because Black people, like, all of these hangings are happening in areas where it's predominantly Black people. The young lady that was hung in Miami right before Juneteenth festival, it was in a Black area. Now, seeing a white person in a Black area, it's like, what you doing here? Seeing a Black person helping a white person in a Black area, no one would blink at it because we know us. We know we would help. But that's what's happening. They're not snatching us out of these Black areas. They're luring us. They're using our kindness against us, as they have told the whole world that we are not. They know that we inherently are, and they're using that as a way to lure us and hang us. That's what I believe the play is. Be vigilant and be aware. A Black man was found hung in Raleigh, North Carolina yesterday, August the 15th, Saturday. He was near a Caribbean.
Woo! Woo! I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. Or if you're from Kenya, Watu 254 Niaje. Here on the Better Medicine podcast, we are diving in feet first. Shoot the Breeze topic number 2 asks, should we continue to be kind? Or should we continue being kind, excuse me? And that lady explains in that clip that you just heard. Please, if you need me to replay that clip, let me know. I'll be more than happy to do so. She explains on how a Black gentleman was approached by, I think it was just a man of another race. I don't know if he is white. I don't know. But a man of another race saying, hey, can you help me out? My brother is locked in the bathroom. But basically, he was trying to lure him into an assault and possibly even death. And she goes to explain on how for the past, I don't know, however long, we've been waking up to news about Black brothers and sisters hanging from trees here in the United States. And it's oftentimes in Black-dominated areas, and there's no witnesses. Now, some could say, hey, maybe we have a problem about mental health in the United States, especially among our Black people. And some people will say, hey, are there individuals that are surrounding themselves with us, and maybe they're invited to the quote-unquote cookout, and then they're cooking us? No pun intended. This is not meant to be a funny matter. She goes on to explain that. Before we get into our panelists' thoughts, let's go ahead and get into the chat. Trigger Happy says, Black people should be kind, but we should stay dangerous too. Matron says, no, we shouldn't be kind to them. We know that they want to harm us. They look at catching us as sport. I'm straight. I'm being helpful or kind to them. Trigger Happy says, I watched the other clip, but they were both white men. Yee! Even more disgusting. Well, it's good that the gentleman had discernment, especially after homeboy came out of the bathroom. Sorry, not to call him homeboy, but old boy came out of the bathroom. So it's like, first, is this your brother? And then second, were you really locked in the bathroom? What's going on? Let's get into the thoughts of our panelists. Shoot the Breeze, topic number 2 asks, should we continue? Anthony! Peace, brother. Hope everything is well. Welcome to Shoot the Breeze, episode 254. How are you? And what's your thoughts based on what you've heard, what you've seen, my brother?
Ujambo, my brother Jacadero.
See, Jumbo, what's going on, Omera? Niaje.
I'm chilling, man. You doing okay, brother?
I'm in a great mood. Can you hear my voice? I'm in a great mood, Omera. I'm in a great mood.
Yeah, I can hear you pretty good. I'm sitting next to this air conditioner. I was hoping you could hear me pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, it's hot out. Hey, man. Down here where I'm at, it's been 100 degrees every day, man. It's 105 today. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. There was a time that my mom got a job in Houston, and Midwest heat is one thing, bro. Down south heat, especially where you're along the lines of like a big body of water, like the Gulf. Bro, that's a type of humidity, man. I remember for those 2 years, that was something special, bro. Summertime.
We got that muggy heat, that subtropical heat.
Man. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into your thoughts. Should we continue to be kind? Okay. And then thoughts about the video.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I got you. And and peace to everybody in the panel. I mean in the chat, man, and everybody. Okay, what I'm gonna say is this: Jacadero, the only people that black should be kind to is other black people. Okay, we need to be kind with each other. What I'm saying, we need to be kind with each other and have respect for each other, respect each other. You know, we had different opinions or whatever. I'm saying we need to be kind with each other first, because my mom always said, "Share the start at home and spread abroad." That's what my mama told me growing up. Okay, now as far as the other part, we should be respectful to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Who's respectful to us? But in these situations like this, going out our way to help strangers, especially other people, you know what I'm saying? Especially in this time, any time really, but especially in this time. I seen the video. It was two crackers who was trying to set that brother up. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying no. Hey, don't go out your way to help nobody no more, man. This the wrong time, especially none of them people there. But I'm saying, because you know what? Hey, look here. I can tell you stories when I was younger, in my 20s. Some brothers robbed me when I was trying to help them. You know what I'm saying? So you don't go out your way to do that in these times anyway, especially when you're by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I agree. The brother had the discernment to say, "Hey, man, this don't look right. This don't look right." You know, and that stuff ain't just happening in Mississippi. That's happening everywhere. You know, they trying to make it like Mississippi. You know, I've been seeing a lot of videos about people getting hanged and all that stuff in Mississippi now. They doing that stuff everywhere, man. You know, they're doing it everywhere. It's more than Mississippi. It's different places. You know what I'm saying? They just had a few of them in Georgia out there where I got my nieces and nephews live at. You know, we was talking about that. And I was running it down to them. Y'all roll together, man. Stay in a group of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And get yourself, some protection. Get you some protection, because you got to do that these days. But no, Jack, the answer, no. We don't need to be kind to them people. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to be kind to them at all. We need to be kind with each other. We need to respect other people. You know what I'm saying? But as far as going out our way to be kind, inviting the cookouts and all this old bullshit, some of my cool friends and all, no, we need to grow up, man. We need to grow up. Because you would get your ass killed. No, like my uncle say, you get your ass knocked off. No fooling around with certain people. You know what I'm saying? So no, man, we need to be on guard. What Trigger said, what Trigger Happy said, okay, but we need to be dangerous too. Because we have to. That's the way I look at it, my brother.
Let's discourse a little bit. You're absolutely right when you say, this is happening everywhere. That woman that you see in the background, she did explain, I think it was spring break is what she said, but Miami, there was a situation where a woman passed away. Before I get further into our discourse, Trigger Happy says in the chat, yeah, our cultural essence is to be kind, but this can obviously turn into a weakness, and it can be even worse when you see breeded to fight in your community. Trigger Happy also adds, would you guys agree that this is akin to a ritual going on or initiation killings? See, that for me, again, Trigger Happy, I'm only going to speak for myself on this. Maybe other people agree. Maybe they don't. Please let me know. When we talk about, is this a ritual? Is this or that? Whatever the hell it is, not only do we need to put a stop to it, but we need to send a message that says, hey, check this out. You take one of us, we take three of yours. Plain and simple. You take one of us, we take three of yours. Whether or not this is a ritual, whatever it is that you guys are practicing, you do whatever it is that you want to do. Trust and believe. What's that? Is it a gravity law? I don't know. But for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Shit. Say less. Come through. Come through. I dare you. Anthony, what I wanted to discourse about is how does this happen? How does this lady pointed out that, hey, we find Black people getting hung or hanging in Black neighborhoods, in Black majority areas here in the United States. How does that happen then? How does this happen?
Jagadero, you already said it. What you said, that's what Brother Malcolm used to say. Well, you know what Brother Malcolm had that speech about by any means necessary? He said, eye for an eye. You know what I'm saying? But you have some of us among us, these groups among us will come and say and try to be the voices of what is that word? The in-between person who's saying like, they had these people. That right there. And those kind of people are the ones that have been keeping us in line for a long time. Like you said, Jagadero, when that shit happened, how it stops happening, you start sending some of their motherfucking ass to funerals. You know what I'm saying? I mean, see, they try to make it a thing where you can see the face of a Black mother and a Black family crying and going through all kind of pain because their child got hung or their child got killed by the police or whatever. Or about some of these old crackers running around trying to recreate the good old Jim Crow lynch mob South back in the day. You know what I'm saying? They see it's always my baby, my baby, my baby, my baby. My baby got killed, and we always going to get Ben Crump. We don't need to get Ben Crump. We need to go get an AK-47. You know what I'm saying? Like our brother did. When the police killed his son, he didn't give a damn which one of the motherfuckers did it. He went back and got one. And you know what I'm saying? And you know what? I guarantee you, them police was like, man, is there some more of them Negroes like that out there? That's what we got to do. Hey, look here, some of us got to bite the bullet and be the sacrificial lamb. Well, I'm going to take this for the people, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go and smoke one of these motherfuckers. I know, hey, look here, I forgot. Hey, the views expressed by Anthony McPhail are independent of Bitter Medicine Podcast. Okay? Let's say that shit right there. Say that shit right there. But look here, when a Black brother or sister get lynched or something, hung up in a tree or something around there, guess what? Somebody else need to get lynched somewhere else. That's what Marcus say. When you lynch one here in Mississippi, we're going to lynch one in Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's how that shit stop. It ain't going to be no marching, no protesting, no standing in front of cameras with Ben Crump talking about this and that. It ain't going to be no Democrats, no Republicans talk about it on Capitol Hill or nowhere, or none of that shit. The only way that shit going to stop is if you put your hands, if a honky put his hands on Jagadero, I'm going to put my hands all over his motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying? If I'm there to see it. You kill Jagadero, I'm going to kill you. You know what I'm saying? You kill my loved ones, I'm going to kill your motherfucking ass. I'm going to go after your ass. Motherfucker, hey, Jagadero, an enemy got to know that the same thing he could do could happen to him. They got to know the same thing. It's just like America. We can go over there and bomb the shit out of Iran and any other country. But guess what? When them bombs start coming back over here like 9/11, what happened? Oh, goddamn, white folks are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because it started happening to them. You see, and it ain't never happened to them. And see, that's our problem. We don't never do it. We go and cry. We go and march. We go and protest. No, motherfucker, you done did that shit for 50 years, 60 years, 70 years, however long you done did it. You need to go get yourself a motherfucking gun. And you need to take the law into your hand. You know what I'm saying? Because you living in an illegal criminal settler state. This country is a crime. You know what I'm saying? So you talking about a criminal justice system. It ain't no criminal justice system. Not for your black ass. Hell, because a bunch of criminals made it. It's a criminal justice system. You know what I'm saying? And you got to stop being scared. Okay, either you're going to be free or you're going to be a slave. You're going to let motherfuckers kill your people and you're just going to march. Well, I'm going to turn it over to God. And that is the word of a coward. No. God, you know that good right there. God said, he going out there, he said, eye for eye. You know what I'm saying? He said, that's what he said. But we up here talking about, well, I'm going to let the Lord, no, I'm going to let my motherfucking bullet take care of that shit. That's what we got to do. And when you start doing that, when you hit a bullet in the mouth, Jagadero, what a bullet do when you hit him in the mouth? When you hit him in the mouth, what it do? He fold. I'm a big dude. And I can remember, you know how I'm a big dude, youngster. And I used to like pick on the kids sometimes because I was a bigger dude. One day, one of them stood up to me. You know what I'm saying? And I pushed him and he pushed back. And by the time I was finna sock him in his mouth, he socked me in my mouth. I knew right then, you better leave that boy alone. You know what I'm saying? That's how that shit happened. You know what I'm saying? You bust him in his motherfucking nose. You make him blood. You make him see his blood. You know what I'm saying? When he see his blood, he could die. These motherfuckers see they could die. That's when that shit, oh, hey, y'all, we gonna have to be cool now. We got to leave them alone. Let's stay out from over there. There you go.
Very, very, man. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and just drop some air horns. Solid, solid words. Like I have anything to add to that. It's like when a comedian goes up after somebody that killed it. It's like, damn, I gotta go after that. Trigger Happy says the voice of reason types, huh? And then Brother Bakari says, I agree with you, Anthony. Matron gives fire emojis and says, that's right. I agree. Also, Qui T or Q2 or Qui. I believe it's Qui, right? Qui. Let's just say KT. KT says, I agree. Brother Bakari says, we will get out of this situation with diplomacy. Interesting. One of the things, and maybe we can spend some more time on, I think we got a little bit of time, Anthony, is that during I call it like the 2010s of police brutality, where police brutality was up front and center as far as news media outlets across American televisions. And one of the I don't know if it was a long-term solution, short-term, but a solution nonetheless that somebody suggested, and it caught a little bit of fire. And it was, hey, if more Black people sign up there and their children's for life insurance, these police brutality. Now, I know we're not talking about police brutality in this Shoot the Breeze topic number 2, Anthony, but it was suggested that more Black people need to sign up for life insurance, because when the life insurance companies start to give out more than what they can offer, then they will have those tough and difficult conversations with police departments and or senators or governors of these states. Are you also in agreement of that? And then also, is this something that is viable? Or like you said, Anthony, we should just look towards the ones that are like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take one for the team, and we're just going to punch them in the mouth, so to speak. I guess I want your thoughts on it, Anthony. I know that we're not dealing with police brutality here, but could we also use the whole, hey, I got life insurance policy, so should anything happen to me, I'm covered, because, hey, this is like the upteenth time. Hopefully you're still there, Anthony. Brother Bakari says, I meant we will not get out of this situation with diplomacy. All right. Well, maybe that's a conversation for another day. Maybe Anthony's busy, but again, that was something that was brought up during the 2010s, is that more and more Black people should get life insurance policies.
Oh, hey, yeah, Jack. Oh, I'm sorry, Jack. Yeah, hey,
yeah,
look, yeah, you need life insurance. You need life insurance for your family, but that still ain't got nothing to do with, what we was talking about. Stopping the bullshit. Yeah, yeah, it's always good to have life insurance. But when, hey, you gone and your family left behind. Yeah, of course. But I mean, that ain't what we really talking about, right? We talking about the other bullshit.
I appreciate it, Anthony. Yeah, it's really, really, really a concerning situation. I mean, again, some of us thought, I don't know how many of us, but there were some of us thought that this stopped, after the Civil Rights Act, after the 60s, the 70s, and you still have it. And again, it's being covered up with, narratives about suicide, but, nobody's leaving a suicide note. Nobody's even talking. Now, I know that mental health proponents and mental health therapists and the like will say, well, sometimes you can't read somebody's mental health, so you have no idea. But why is it always public? Again, I'm not saying that, you need to be private. I don't want any Black people to be taking their own lives. But if this is a conversation then about mental health, why so public? Why so gruesome? Dave Chappelle painted this one story for us on stand-up. And he said that one of his white friends, I think, got divorced. I don't know if he got divorced or lost his house, but he contemplated suicide. He told him, he was like, hey, I contemplated suicide because I think it's either he defaulted on the mortgage or got the divorce papers. But he said his black friend in D.C. lost his job, had his car repossessed, pretty much like an avalanche of adversity handed his way. And he asked like his friend, his black friend in DC, like, yo, what you gonna do next? And Chappelle said that his friend said, man, we gonna thug it out. and so Chappelle's telling this joke, but it's more of a story to say like, hey, yo, black people are pretty resilient. We can have like the world coming at us, and it's still like, yo, we gonna figure this out. So, and I bring that up because it's often a narrative of like, well, hey, just maybe that person took their own life. But the black people I know are pretty resilient. Not to say that black people don't contemplate suicide or don't contemplate other things to, maybe mess around with their livelihood. But, when I see stuff like this, it just makes me think a lot. All right. Just getting a message from Anthony. Let's go ahead and let's get into, we're about in the second hour. Let's go ahead and get into the third topic. Again, if you're just tuning in, I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. This is Kenya's episode today. And it's funny because there's no topics about Kenya. I was thinking about having the conversation about a helicopter crash that happened this week in Kenya, but I don't know. I didn't know if I was going to have much discourse with that. But nonetheless, it's the Kenya episode because it's the Kenya country code. I got trigger happy. I'm sure laughing in the background. This is the Bitter Medicine Podcast, a part of a wider network called KWAZ Radio. Hit the like button and also download the Discord app so that way you can Discord and build with like-minded Africans like you. Not who, but you. All right. Shoot the Breeze, topic number 3. Let's get into it. We ask to accept or not accept. To accept or not accept. Huh? You guys probably think that I'm a poet today. I might be. But we go to YouTube for this discourse. This is what you guys saw in the thumbnail. So an African country, like many African countries, when I say many, one is too many. And it also was revealed to us in the past 2 weeks that some Caribbean countries have also taken the steps into bending the knee for the United States. What am I talking about? Before we go to YouTube, let me break down. For those that don't know, African and Caribbean nations, not all of them, but some of them, have taken upon themselves to bend the knee to the United States and accept third country deportees. What is a third country deportee, you might be asking? Well, a third country deportee is somebody that's being deported not to their home country, and they are not staying in the United States, which would be their second country, but they are sent to a third country. Now, majority of these deportees don't come from Africa, let alone the African nation that you guys will see. Liberia recently accepted from the United States to bring in 1,200 third country deportees to their country. Liberia's government has openly said that these 1,200 individuals have the freedom to stay and eventually, if they meet all the requirements, obtain Liberian citizenship. People against this are asking why. Why would Liberia accept this? Liberia is the newest African country to accept this, as well as the large amount. Again, 1,200. For Caribbean countries, the latest one is Antigua and Barbuda. Prime Minister Gaston Brown recently spoke on accepting a deal with the United States to have people that are not from Antigua Barbuda to be sent to his country. For more on this, we go to YouTube. There's a video. Stand by, and we'll dive in.
The Trump administration has sent its first group of so-called third country deportees to Liberia, meaning people deported to a country that is not their own. About 20 people from different countries landed outside Liberia's capital, Monrovia, on Thursday. CBS News reports a small group refused to get off the plane and had to be escorted off by American officials. They later returned to the plane, and CBS says their whereabouts were not immediately known. Liberia has agreed to take up to 1,200 third country deportees from the U.S. over the next year, including people from Africa, North and South America, and the Caribbean. They will also be allowed to apply for asylum in Liberia. Liberia is also where the Trump administration is trying to send Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was wrongfully deported to El Salvador last year, then returned to the U.S. to face human smuggling charges. A federal judge has blocked that deportation for now. In a separate immigration move Thursday, the U.S. deported more than 160 people to Haiti. They are the first group sent back since the Trump administration won its legal fight to end temporary protected status for some 350,000 Haitians. The group included people who had been protected under TPS, along with other Haitian nationals, including some who had served prison sentences. The Trump administration has sent its first group of so-called third country deportees to Liberia, meaning people deported to a country that is not their own. About 20 people from different countries landed outside Liberia's capital, Monrovia, on Thursday. CBS News reports a small group refused to get off the plane and had to be escorted off by American officials. They later returned to the plane, and CBS says their whereabouts were not immediately known. Liberia has agreed to take up to 1,200 third country deportees from the U.S. over the next year, including people from Africa, North and South America, and the Caribbean. They will also be allowed to apply for asylum in Liberia. Liberia is also where the Trump administration is trying to send Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was wrongfully deported to El Salvador last year, then returned to the U.S. to face human smuggling charges. A federal judge has blocked that deportation for now. In a separate immigration move Thursday, the U.S. deported more than 160 people to Haiti. They are the first group sent back since the Trump administration won its legal fight to end temporary protected status for some 350,000 Haitians. The group included people who had been protected under TPS, along with other Haitian nationals, including some who had served prison sentences.
Once again, if you're just tuning in, I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. Yes, Watu Kenya, Karibuni. Here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast. I kid, but what I'm not joking about is you hitting the like button. Hit the like button. What's wrong with you? Come on. Don't you want other like-minded individuals to know what you know? That can only happen when we're in the algorithm. Hit the like button. We're getting into our third topic of the night. Shoot the Breeze topic number 3 asks, to accept or not accept. The video that we were watching shows us that third country deportees, again, people where Liberia is their third country. It's not the country of origin. It's not the country where they have been living in, because the Liberian government had agreed to accept the United States' third country deportees. So we asked to accept or not accept. Before we get into our panel thoughts, Sugar Happy says, you know, you don't know your country when you accept being a dumpy ground for another country. It's all about the principle, and these countries have no principles. Ooh. Anthony, based on what you've heard, what you saw, to accept or not accept? Let me know.
Okay. Hey, Jacadero, first, let me ask you this here. Did Kenya do that too?
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask. Did Kenya do the same thing? Because I remember somewhere in the news hearing something about Rudo saying some stuff, talking about that.
So the only thing that has been accepted, it's not from the United States. It's France.
Okay.
They've been getting kicked out of these francophone African nations, and I apologize. I'm not trying to call them francophone, but just for context here.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so they've been kicked out of African nations after having their military bases there, and they've been trying to find a new home. And so Ruto, I think at the G20 summit earlier this year, had made a backdoor deal, but there have not been any French troops on the ground as far as things that I'm getting reported to. So that would be the only thing that, as far as something weird and out of ordinary, as far as Kenya goes, I haven't seen anything. In fact, there's a just a real quick, as far as the United States and Kenya's relationship, Ruto was really Biden's guy. You know, him and Biden were. That's why Ruto got the first state visit as far as Kenya in I think over 20 years, because before that Kenya hadn't had an official state visit. And so reports say that because of how close he was with Biden, Trump just doesn't trust Ruto. So I'm not sure on if we're going to get even a conversation about even being invited to accept third country deportees. But go ahead, Anthony.
Okay, yeah, and I wasn't I wasn't picking on Kenya, but I just remember hearing something about that. It was exactly what you were just talking about with France. That's what I remember seeing some of that on social media at one point. And what I'm going to say is that, Kagame been doing that too. Kagame has been doing that in Rwanda. As a matter of fact, I think they was receiving people from South Asia. I think Afghanistan and places like that. From Afghanistan and I think from some European countries, like maybe Eastern European countries, like that, or not Western European countries. But Kagame and them had been doing that. They're doing the same thing, accepting this whole deal they had with the European Union. But I think it's terrible, Jagadero. You know what I'm saying? But we had to look at the governments. If you're talking about Jamaica, look who's the prime minister of Jamaica. Now what we talked about last time. It's been a while, I was talking about Andrew Holness and Ruto. I mean, look who's the president. No, who's the prime minister? Andrew Holness. You know what I'm saying? Or look at who's the president, Boycott. Who's the president in Liberia. And look at the relationship that Liberia's had with America for such a long time anyway. Even though you've always had why even get it? A colony is just a colony. But I'm saying, in Liberia still is basically like a modern day American colony. Still, you know what I'm saying? It ain't the Americo-Liberian elites there, but you got the wannabe Americo-Liberian elites there now. You know what I'm saying? With your boycotts and with Will and them and everybody else who's come before. So you can understand it's gonna be deals like that. It's gonna be deals like that. This at this point, Jackadary, at this point, me and you, we know what's happening. We already expect that. From some of these puppet leaders like that. We already expect that. So it really is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be stuff like that. You know what I'm saying, Jagadero? It ain't as long as you got house slaves wanting to be in the master's house and dancing for the master, you're gonna see stuff like this.
I appreciate it, Anthony. For those that want to know exactly what the Liberian government said after it was revealed that they had accepted to have, 1,200 third country deportees. Again, for those that are not familiar, a third country deportee is somebody that's being deported to a place that's not their home country, their parents' country.
Oh, hey, Jagadero.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, no, real quick, could you tell me, Jagadero, what are they getting for it?
This is good. This is good that you asked that question. So the Liberian government was asked, give me a moment and I'll put it up on screen so that way you guys can read with me. But the Liberian government interior minister actually was asked about it, and this is what he had to say. Give me a few moments. That's actually what I was trying to do while you were speaking. Give me a moment. third country deportees. We'll read it together, huh? All right. So we go to the Guardian. I'm gonna try to pull this up. Oh, hold on. We got people in the chat checking in. Forecast Radio. What's going on, Forecast? Trigger Happy says, excellent question. Peace to Forecast and peace, Trigger Happy. What's going on, Forecast? All right. So Anthony asked the question, in case you're just joining in. Anthony asked the question on Liberia's government accepting third country deportees. Again, for those that don't know, a third country deportee is somebody that's being deported from, in this case, the United States, but they're not being deported to their home country, which is their first country. The United States would be their second country. The third country would be any other country that they have no connection to. The Liberian government of West Africa had accepted. Anthony asked the question, what exactly did the Liberian government get out of this? What did they say? So we go to the Guardian, theguardian.com. I'm going to pull it up on screen here, and let's read together, shall we? Hopefully there's not a paywall for this. Oh, my gosh. Come on. Come on. Let's. Okay, good. All right, we can see this. All right. So 20 deportees from the United States arrived in Liberia on Thursday. So it's Saturday today, and this article comes to us. Let's see if I can get the date. I can't get the date, but let's just say it's this past Thursday. As part of a new agreement that will see the West African country receive as many as 1,200 people under the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. The group arrived at Roberts International Airport outside the capital, Monrovia. The Liberia-U.S. agreement is one of the largest third country deportee arrangements pursued by the administration since his return to office. The Liberian Information Minister, Mr. Pia, said that 1,200 deportees will include African nationals as well as nationals from North America, South America, and the Caribbean. During a briefing on Tuesday, Liberia's Justice Minister said that the majority of the deportees had committed migration-related offenses and that they could seek asylum. The U.S. has agreed to extend visitor visas for Liberians from 12 to 36 months and pledged. Are you seeing this number, guys? How much is that, Anthony? That's why Liberia said yes.
I can't see it. How much is it, Jagadero?
$124 million US dollars. That's what they're giving the Liberian government. Right there. Read it and weep. I hope, Anthony, you're still with me, huh?
Yeah, I'm here, man. I thought you was gonna continue reading. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so $124 million is why Liberia said yes. In the chat, Cheryl says, peace. What's going on, Cheryl? What's up? We getting people in here. Daily Affirmation says, good evening. Good evening, Daily Affirmations. What's up? Trigger Happy says, pennies. Imagine. Not just pennies. Why? So, just because of the fact that we're kind of, I don't want to spend too much time on this. The Liberian Information Minister was asked about what the finances will actually do for Liberia. And he said that it will go towards, are you ready for this, Anthony? It'll go towards reshaping and upgrading their healthcare system. Anthony, can you answer me? Do you believe that Liberia's government will upgrade their healthcare system with the money that they're receiving from the United States as part of the deal?
Absolutely not. That's bullshit. They're gonna put that money in their pocket. They're gonna put it in their pocket. The Liberian government is famous for being corrupt. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, man. Look at. I'm talking about in the recent years. I mean, they are notoriously corrupt. You know, for stealing money and pocketing money, and the people, and you always see the people. You know what I'm saying, in the streets. You know, in Liberia, always, man, where does the money go for this? Where does the money go for that? You know, trying to build the infrastructure, build the roads. You know what I'm saying? The electric power system. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how it is in a lot of parts of the motherland where the electricity is, for a certain amount of hours a day and stuff like that. And, in the public works, all kind of public works, the sewer system and stuff like that. I stay on Focus on Liberia all day. That's my channel over there on YouTube, Focus on Liberia. You know what I'm saying? And Dennis John, I'm cool. Who's the host? I'm cool with Dennis John. I've been on his podcast before, and I always check out they Thursday night podcast. You know what I'm saying? That ain't none of that money going the way it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? Very little of it will go where it's supposed to go. As a matter of fact, they have a corruption scandal going on right now, Jacadero. Right now in Liberia. They're asking where the money is. You know what I'm saying? So hell no. That money ain't gonna go where it's supposed to go at.
For those that are curious on what he's referring to with the corruption scandal, let's go to Google because I know about this scandal very, very well. It's actually Liberia's former vice president. Let's take a look. I know we're getting a little bit away, but nonetheless, Anthony is putting truth to power here. All right. Liberia's former vice president is Jewel Howard Taylor, who served from 2018 to 2024 under President George Weah. She was recently detained and charged with drug trafficking and money laundering. Now, for those that say, what is this?
Hey, Jacadero, real quick. Jacadero, I'm sorry. This is important. Real quick, tell them who Jewel Taylor is.
I don't have much information, so maybe you can.
No, tell them who her husband is. Her former husband, Charles Taylor.
Oh, that's right. Yes. For those that want to know, Charles Taylor was the one that was responsible for the overthrow of William Doe. Is it? Wait. Samuel Doe. Excuse me, Samuel Doe. And then Charles Taylor himself was a guerrilla warfare rebel. Now, I don't like to get into semantics on somebody's necessary background, but hey, she got to the vice president. That's more than what I can say. But as we can see here from this BBC article, Liberia has charged the former vice president, Ms. Howard Taylor, with drug trafficking, money laundering, and a range of other offenses as part of an investigation into an alleged transnational narcotics network. She was detained on Wednesday this week after being able to board a flight at the Roberts International Airport in the capital, Monrovia. The police chief has linked her to the seizure last month of cocaine valued, I know you can't see this, Anthony, so I'll just say this to you, $317 million US. I'm in love with the cocoa. So for those that want to know how corrupt Liberia can be and is reported, again, I'm not saying they are. I love Liberia to death. I have family members that have married into Liberian families, but I just know that their country doesn't necessarily have their best track record. But again,
I'll be back. Somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Somebody at my door.
Yeah, please. We got Cheryl saying, she says, I'm weak, not the cocoa. I got it for the low. Mrs. Taylor, that's my people. Hey, Coco, if you're listening, I love my job, my guy. I need a raise. All jokes. But yeah, when the Interior Minister, again, was questioned about what will happen with the money that the United States will send to Liberia in exchange of accepting people that are not from Liberia, the Interior Minister said that it will be used towards upgrading the healthcare system in the country. I only laugh, guys, just because I think enough of us that are very familiar with how some, not all, but some African countries work. Just don't be surprised, guys. Don't be surprised. But nonetheless, very interesting times indeed. If you guys want my thoughts about it, Liberia accepting this is, clearly, you guys heard the number. 124 million is being given to the government. Trigger Happy says in the chat, this is pennies. Absolutely. Some of you guys will look at a number like that and it's large. And I get it. They say that money is subjective. Is it subjective, objective? I think it's subjective. Basically, it's relative to whatever value that you put on it. Well, the Liberian government doesn't think it's pennies, and they say, hey, we're going to take that. I do have a lot to say. I just don't want to spend too much time on this just because I want to hear from you guys. Cheryl says, at this point, what government don't traffic drugs? Thank you.
Hey, Jagadero. Oh,
Please,
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jagadero. I'm sorry. And the piggyback on there with the sisters say, now here they go. I mean, you got all of this. You have this international thing like America, the international, criminal. What they call it? It's a name. What they call it? The one they go after criminals and stuff. It's an organization. You know what I'm saying, Jagadero? What they call Interpol.
Yeah, Interpol.
Yeah, Interpol. Where they track the drug money and stuff like that. Now, here go the United States of America, the biggest consumer of drugs it is. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the biggest consumer of drugs. And talking about, they're selling drugs in South America, in Venezuela, or wherever, or whatever country that they ain't cool with. Talk about the poppy seeds in Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? Or talk about the drug dealing in Liberia. I mean, and as it refers to this case, like with Miss Jewel Howard Taylor, Miss Jewel Taylor, the former vice president. Well, y'all know who her husband was, and y'all know he sold drugs as part to fund what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? But now, you know what I'm saying? Now is a big thing now. You talk about her drug. Y'all already knew who these people were. That's why I said, you know who her husband was? You know what I'm saying? Do you know her husband was? It's just some bullshit, man, in Liberia. Liberia is a mess, man. Liberia is a mess. I could talk a little bit about Liberia because I say that's my favorite country in Africa. I've studied the history of Liberia. I always study a lot of the things. I've been slacking on a little lately, but I'm always into Liberia. You know what I'm saying? And that place, it's a mess, brother. Jagadero, it's a mess.
One of the important things to know about Liberia, guys, is just like Haiti, Liberia used to be one of the bigger economies. Liberia, for those that don't know, is a big producer of rubber. And Firestone used to get, if not all, a majority of its rubber supply directly from Liberia. But this is what can happen when you have misleaders. Anthony, I'm sure he can expound on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and Jagadero also remind them that the Firestone rubber plantation was the land that the Liberian government was supposed to give to Marcus Garvey. That land was supposed to give to Marcus Garvey. To start his thing. He was extending the UNA over to the African continent. But then again, some old Uncle Tom Negroes became president, and struck up a deal with the American government. And that's how but that's where the Firestone rubber plantation comes from. That land was originally for the UNIA.
I appreciate it, Anthony. Yeah, it sounds like me and you can dive deep on Liberia all day. Maybe we can have an episode about it because, just like you, I love Liberia being Africa's first and oldest republic. And then just the fact that even with all the civil wars that they've had with the just pretty much tribalism. Let's just call it what it is. It's tribalism. I know that it's a mess, like Anthony says. I haven't been there, so I can't say that, with my own testimony, but nonetheless, the Liberians that you meet in the United States, I can only speak because I live here in this country. Every Liberian person that I've ever met have been the utmost friendly, the utmost hospitable. One thing about us Kenyans is we're pretty much, I like to point out to people that Kenyans are the Liberians of East Africa. You can meet a Kenyan today and later that day, he or she will invite you over for a barbecue. Same thing with Liberians. So I just love Liberia. And, as much as they've had issues in their countries, their spirit is really, really strong. It's pretty uplifting. If you have anybody Liberian in your life, you more than likely have a solid friend. Liberians are, at least in my life, you can count on a Liberian to just not almost drop what they're doing, but, a solid person. I'll say that. If you have a Liberian in your life, you have a solid person. And then, we can get into the food topic on if they have the best food in West Africa, maybe another day. Again, me and Anthony can talk about Liberia all day. Cheryl in the chat says, America accept big pharma when they want to look down on other countries for trafficking drugs. Americans would malfunction if big pharma didn't exist. Man, and that can be a whole maybe 3 hours talking about, because the big pharma exists because, people have problems in America. We're talking about health problems, but I don't want to spend too much time on that because this next topic is pretty heavy. We go from West Africa to here in the United States. Shoot the Breeze topic number 4. And it says, lights out and nobody cares. For those that don't know, I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. Yes, it's the Kenya episode. I kid, but here on the Bitter Medicine Podcast on KWAZ Radio, hit the like button. Hit the like button. But Shoot the Breeze topic number 4 says, lights out and nobody cares. For those that are not aware, here in the United States, we have many Black-dominated cities, and one of them being Gary, Indiana, home to Michael Jackson and his family. Well, Gary, Indiana, in more recent times has been the way that it has been even since the 80s and the 90s. Nonetheless, people that you meet from Gary, Indiana are pretty swell people. Me, myself, I've known several people from Gary, Indiana, and I have nothing but great things to say about them. Gary, Indiana recently had a bad thunder or rainstorm, whatever you call it. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just pointing out that they had a bad rainstorm. So bad that one of the weather analysts and experts said that the winds reached the same wind speeds as a Category 2 hurricane. I think hurricanes go all the way up to like a Category 5 or Category 6. For it to become a Category 2 with winds like that does significant damage. And so much so that Gary, Indiana has, to this day, since I believe August 11th, they've been without power. Without power. This is a city that says that 20,000 of its residents have been without power since August 11th. For more on this, we have several, not just one, not two, not three. I have 4 videos for you guys. The first one takes us to YouTube, and the rest takes us to TikTok, where individuals like yourself are posting on what their day is like after the city and the state of Indiana has neglected them. Let's take a watch on what is happening. Let's go to YouTube first, and we will go ahead and replay those TikTok videos. So bear with me, guys. Let's go to YouTube first and see as these residents prepare for a possible lawsuit against the state of Indiana.
I've been out of power since Tuesday of last week, and I'm still sitting in the dark. I got my grandmother with me, so we have to go out, get our phone charged, get food. We have to throw away the food, trees in the lawn.
Communities of color are left behind and always feel like they're the last to get turned on or the last to get rescued in these situations.
It's not okay for us to continually be in survival mode. We need to have a light at the end of the tunnel.
It's been pretty rough.
Well, more than a week and a half after devastating storms swept through Indiana, killing at least 7 people, thousands are still without power. Utility crews working around the clock, but the thousands of lingering outages remain concentrated in the northwestern part of the state. And ground zero of the outages is centered in Michael Jackson's hometown of Gary, Indiana. Utility company NIPSCO says some 40,000 in the region could remain in the dark until sometime next week. News Nation correspondent Alex Capriello is live for us there in Gary. So, Alex, what is the situation there?
Yeah, Nicole, it's been 10 days since this storm hit Gary, Indiana, and scenes just like this one are playing out all across the city. You see these downed trees and the downed power lines that still need to be cleaned up. The result is tens of thousands of people that live here in this city still without power.
I mean, just at all of the years of my life, I've never seen this much devastation, this much damage.
New numbers from the Northern Indiana Public Service Company, also known as NIPSCO, show around 43,000 customers are still without power. 16,000 of those are in Gary, including Gary Mayor Eddie Melton. Melton has repeatedly voiced his frustrations with NIPSCO, saying the utility company needs to do more to restore power to his city. His administration has now requested additional utility crews and linemen to help speed up recovery efforts.
Just imagine someone with medical conditions, individuals that haven't been able to talk to family members around the country, reaching out, wondering how they're doing. So this is frightening for a lot of folks.
And many Gary residents are taking their frustrations straight to social media, calling for more help and questioning why it's taking so long to restore power.
It's like a horror movie out here.
Some are also alleging that Gary's racial demographics are playing a role in how quickly resources are reaching the community. Thousands of residents are now taking legal action against NIPSCO. A lawsuit filed against NIPSCO claims this damage and the power outages could have been prevented if the utility company had better managed the vegetation and trees that grows around the power lines.
They have to be accountable to the people they've harmed, physically, financially, whatever. They would like to blame it on an untoward weather event. Well, we know there's going to be weather events every year. At the end of the day, it's NIPSCO. And unless we hold them to account, they're not going to change.
Relief is also coming from the state. Governor Mike Braun requested an expedited disaster declaration from FEMA and brought in the National Guard to help communities recover. The emergency declaration will allow impacted Hoosiers to receive up to $5,000 in recovery assistance.
Many of us that believe in God and believe that our faith is what helps us endure these storms, I truly believe that this is going to make us stronger at the end.
We reached out to NIPSCO to see if they have any sort of comment about this lawsuit that was recently announced. We're still waiting to hear back.
All right, Alex.
I just want to show this because this is like really crazy. So these are the neighborhoods. It's no lights. It's no power. But look at this shit. When I cut my lights off, why the fuck? You see that shit? It is pitch fucking black. Like, I just want to show this because this is like really crazy. So these are the neighborhoods. It's no lights. It's no power. But look at this shit. When I cut my lights off, why the fuck? You see that shit? It is pitch fucking black.
But it's been over 240,000 people without power. No lights, no Wi-Fi, can't charge your phone. It's women taking cold showers. Everybody refrigerators off. It's restaurants closed. My neighbor's been barbecuing meat every night. And his kids outside playing, having fun. It's fucked in the dark because it's no school. I'm sure y'all been getting that foul smell. I've been smelling in my kitchen, though. So I decided to clean the fuck up. I'm washing my refrigerator out. And since it's off, I'm going to let it air out until the power back on. We've been without power for like 5-6 days now. And who the fuck shot at NIPSCO? And why is somebody going around throwing shit on people? And I know y'all heard about that person that had that damn TV in the McDonald's this morning playing a video game. They said all the liquor stores packed. They say some people got power and some don't. And then they talking about the mayor. But listen, he only one person. So y'all clean them damn trees up yourself. Hopefully the elders safe. And anybody that's on medication or machine still good. And our kids that got illnesses get well. We've been outside every night. But mom always said make sure the house clean first. Mentally, I'm peaceful. I'm healed, I'm fasting, I'm praying, and I'm appreciative of the things I now realize are privileges. And at night, I relax. It's still no power, but I got boxes on, one sock halfway off. I use my tripod to make a lamp for me while I read a book. I'm finna scroll TikTok and Instagram right now, though. Time for some sleep. Sight. I live in Gary, Indiana, but it's been over 240,000 people without power. No lights, no Wi-Fi, can't charge your phone. It's women taking cold showers. Everybody refrigerators off. It's restaurants closed. My neighbor's been barbecuing meat every night, and his kids outside playing, having fun. It's fucked in the dark because there's no school. I'm sure y'all been getting that foul smell. I've been smelling in my kitchen though, so I decided to clean the fuck up. I'm washing my refrigerator out, and since it's off, I'm gonna let it air out until the power back on. We've been without power for like 5-6 days now. And who the fuck shot at NIPSCO? And why is somebody going around throwing shit on people? And I know y'all heard about that person that had that damn TV in the McDonald's this morning playing a video game. They said all the liquor stores packed. They say some people got power and some don't. And then they talking about the mayor. But listen, he only one person. So y'all clean the damn trees up yourself. Hopefully the elders safe. And anybody that's on medication or machine still good. And all the kids that got illnesses get well. We've been outside there at night. But mom always said make sure the house clean first. Mentally, I'm peaceful. I'm healed, I'm fasting, I'm praying, and I'm appreciative of the things I now realize are privileges. And at night, I relax. It's still no power, but I got boxes on, one sock halfway off. I use my tripod to make a lamp for me while I read a book. I'm finna scroll TikTok and Instagram right now, though.
Update. Gary, Indiana has been without power for the last 9 days, and nobody was talking about it, and I thought it was crazy, so I made a video, and God willingly, people talking about it. With that being said, we got an announcement. We are teaming up with not only the Salvation Army, but the city of Gary, Indiana, to throw an event Monday. The exact location and time will be shared on my story when we get close. But for now, I can tell y'all what we're going to have at the event. So my family and Salvation Army will both be bringing trucks full of supplies. And it's not only just my family and the Salvation Army. Tyrese Halliburton found out what we was doing, and he matching our contribution. God is amazing. So we're going to have supplies. We're going to have a DJ that's provided directly by the city of Gary. And I got over 1,000 messages of restaurants and food trucks and people who sell food that want to get involved. So we're going to open it up for everybody who want to contribute. So if you are a food truck or a restaurant that would like to contribute, you can reach out to this email and we can coordinate it. And also, if you want to contribute and send supplies, which again, I had over 1,000 people that said they want to do it, you can send it to this address. And if you want to volunteer with us, you can go to this website, thesalvationarmy.org, and you can sign up to be a volunteer. And I know it's not turning the power on, but it is a place for community. If you want some supplies or you need some supplies, come get some. If you want some food or you need some food, come get some. If you want to listen to some music or you need that sense of people being around you, come get some. And I'm going to continue to talk about it because I think this should be a national conversation. And it's insane to me that it's not. So until it is, y'all going to hear me. God is amazing. I'll see you on Monday. God bless you. Have an amazing day. I'll be safe. Again, it wouldn't be possible without y'all. It wouldn't be possible without the people who are willing to join the efforts with us. And I'll see y'all. Okay, I got an update. Gary, Indiana has been without power for the last 9 days, and nobody was talking about it. And I thought it was crazy, so I made a video. And God willingly, people talking about it. With that being said, we got an announcement. We are teaming up with not only the Salvation Army, but the city of Gary, Indiana, to throw an event Monday. The exact location and time will be shared on my story when we get close. But for now, I can tell y'all what we're going to have at the event. So my family and Salvation Army will both be bringing trucks full of supplies. And it's not only just my family and the Salvation Army. Tyrese Halliburton found out what we was doing, and he matching our contribution. God is amazing. So we're going to have supplies. We're going to have a DJ that's provided directly by the city of Gary. And I got over 1,000 messages of restaurants and food trucks and people who sell food that want to get involved. So we're going to open it up for everybody who want to contribute. So if you are a food truck or a restaurant that would like to contribute, you can reach out to this email and we can coordinate it. And also, if you want to contribute and send supplies, which again, I had over 1,000 people that said they want to do it, you can send it to this address. And if you want to volunteer with us, you can go to this website, thesalvationarmy.org, and you can sign up to be a volunteer. And I know it's not turning the power on, but it is a place for community. If you want some supplies or you need some supplies, come get some. If you want some food or you need some food, come get some. If you want to listen to some music or you need that sense of people being around you, come get some. And I'm going to continue to talk about it because I think this should be a national conversation. And it's insane to me that it's not. So until it is, y'all going to hear me. God is amazing. I'll see y'all.
Yeah. That's a lot, huh? I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. Watch 254. Wappy and Doodoo. This is the Bitter Medicine Podcast, part of KWAZ Radio, a larger network. You want to be a part of us? First things first, go ahead and download the Discord app, DISCORD, and add the Bitter Medicine Podcast. And you could be the 100th member. We dive not only on Saturday nights, but 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. Huh? You want like-minded individuals like yourself? Download the app and hit the like button. Come on. You heard Keith Lee, right? You heard him. Huh? He's doing something for the community. You can also do something for the community. You don't have to donate. You don't have to show up. You can just hit the like button. That's doing something for the community. Get us in the algorithm. As you guys heard from those 4 different videos, 3 of them from TikTok, 1 from YouTube, residents in Gary, Indiana, a Black-dominated city, one of many here in the United States, had a storm. A storm so severe that it hit Category 2 hurricane wind speeds, knocked out power. And since August 11th, we are in August 22nd, power has not returned. And so residents in Gary, Indiana, as I'm about to show, are in the dark, literally, figuratively, and literally. Can't wash your clothes, can't wash dishes. Man, you can't even wash yourself. You guys heard in that one clip, mothers and children have had to go take cold showers. Tough deal. Before we get into our panel thoughts, let's go ahead and check the chat. KT says, I love all my Africans, but the Liberians I've met have been rude and not kind. LOL. Come on, KT. Maybe you're just meeting the wrong ones. Cheryl says, this is when the whites come around and start unaliving people. They did it in Louisiana after Katrina. Coming up in September will be one of the anniversaries of, if you want to call it an anniversary of Hurricane Katrina in Louisiana. Tough deal. Trigger Happy says, notice how this is similar to the situation in Cuba. For those that don't know, Cuba has rolling blackouts countrywide where they go from 16 to 22 hours without power. It's part of a larger conversation of U.S. imperialism taking over Venezuelan oil that in part was being sent to Cuba, but until this year when the United States military kidnapped then sitting president Nicolas Maduro and his wife, the U.S. military has now taken over the offshore oil of Venezuela and thus putting another sanction or an embargo on selling any oil to Cuba. But this is not about Cuba. This conversation is about Gary, Indiana, here in the United States, and how they're having they're in permanent let me not say permanent, but they're in blackout since August 11th. Anthony, what say you from what you've heard, what you've seen? Lights out and nobody cares. Your thoughts?
Yeah, brother. And first of all, Jagadero, I appreciate you for putting those up, man. We needed to see those, man. I've been following it a little bit too. Cause see, look here. All right, like where I live here in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, if you just go straight up north, Arkansas, Illinois, and then all those places, all this area is known as Tornado Alley. That's why I put in the chat. I said, wasn't it a tornado? Because I thought it was a tornado that it hit. Because everybody I hear talking about it says it was a tornado. Okay, so like I said, it's Tornado Alley. We had to deal with this every year. Every year. Jagadero, tornadoes hit Shreveport every year. North of the city, just on the northern part of the city, it happens all the year. Just last year, it hit a storm hit us, and fortunately, my power didn't go out. But there were a lot of people in Shreveport who didn't have power for over a week. Some of them like 12, 13 days or whatever. I had friends who would bring their meat over to my house and say, hey, man, you can have it, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can have it. Because their power was out. Or what the hole is for me, man. And I say, man, y'all got some meat, y'all, whatever. Wrap it up in a bag, put it in, put your name on it. And I'll keep it in the deep freezer. No stuff like that. So I understand where it's coming from. I remember one time my power was out for a few days. And you talking about just a few days, Jagadero, you talking about some life-changing stuff if you ain't used to it. You know what I'm saying? A lights being, your electricity being off. You got to throw your meat away. You know what I'm saying? You don't have no cold water or juice to drink. You know what I'm saying? And then you got children too. You know what I'm saying? Or you got to go somewhere else to neighbors' houses or family houses, whatever. And people love you, family love you, but you could become a strain on them too. So I understand 100% how that is, man. 100% how that is. You know, I mean, and I just think about it when I think of Gary, Indiana, you know, one of the blackest cities in the country. I think of Jackson, Mississippi, another one of the blackest cities in the country. I think of Flint, Michigan, another black city. You know what I'm saying? And the things that they go through. You know what I'm saying? Right here in my hometown, we got a water crisis thing. It ain't as bad as it is in Jackson, but it's the old infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? Well, we have boil bands all the time. We got to boil your water. That's why so many people in Shreveport go buy their water from the store. You know what I'm saying? So I could understand that part, man. Like I was communicating, with a brother from up there, man, on social media, on IG about what was going on up there, in Gary, and our brother, Mr. Tenderism, Mr. Walt, he going up there to do a fundraiser thing up there to help out, to do something up there because he's from there. He's from Gary. But I'm just saying, man, these things, this is why we got to stick together. We got to come together and support each other. One main thing I would say, if you can afford it, or like the people had to get together and put together something and have a designated building or something, you need to get a generator. You need to get a generator. You know what I'm saying? Our brothers and sisters on the continent been ahead of that for a long time on them generators. You know what I'm saying? You need to get a generator in case the electricity go out. I got one. My neighbors, several of my neighbors have them because this type of shit happen, especially when you in black majority cities. Like my city, we like 55% black. You know what I'm saying? And if you go on the white side of town, things look good. On our side, the infrastructure, the roads, and the telegram lines and all that stuff, in a lot of places, it's shaky. It's bad. You know what I'm saying? It's like it would be unacceptable somewhere else. So I'm saying, man, we got to come together, man. Like, and be prepared for stuff like this. For like storms and things, and even manufacture stuff. But yeah, man, that. Hey, man, Jacadero, that shit hurt my feelings, man. When I was seeing the brothers and sisters saying that stuff like that, and like I said, I talked to one brother. I communicated with one brother on social media, and he was talking about it, man. And I could sympathize with him because I know we done been through that before too. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, no, that shit crazy, man. That shit. It almost made my grown ass cry, man. You know what I'm saying? Because because of what happened and what our people going through, but because we have to be prepared. And I know, and don't get me wrong, I ain't no way blaming nobody in Gary. But I'm saying, when you live in Tornado Alley, this shit happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? We got to be prepared, man, for whether it's manufactured shit or natural causes, natural things that happen, man. But yeah, man, that shit, that's why I didn't interrupt you damn time. I like, because that shit, that really fucked with me, man, when I was seeing that shit. I landed right there, Jacadero.
I appreciate it, Anthony. Yeah, what a terrible situation. A nightmare of a situation, as you guys see, if you guys are able to watch this. Coming home to no power yet again, and when this woman from TikTok turns off her headlights, it's pitch black. It's pitch black. You understand? For those that remember, in New York, they had rolling blackouts for whatever reason, and people that lived in lower income neighborhoods, especially project housing in New York, I have a friend that told me on what it was like. Literally, as soon as nighttime comes, bro, you're having to triple bolt your door because, people are taking opportunity. This is not, don't take my words to say that, the bad, to highlight the bad of us. No. I'm stating that, when you have situations like these, the electricity it going off, it now puts you on your toes, all 10 toes, because now you're having to look out for so many other things. Leave alone showers, laundry, washing dishes. Now you're, a refrigerator not working and your food going bad. Now you're having to worry about other things, external factors. Let's go to the chat before we get into our second panelist. Yes, we finally got a second panel. Let's go. Cheryl says in the chat, God is good, but protecting you from the tyranny of your Christian nation. How'd that work? Ooh, Cheryl standing on business today, huh? Trigger Happy says, another thing I'm thinking about is in this situation is that the rich among our race cannot wait until a situation happens to our people before they start helping materially. Maybe he's referencing that content creator Keith Lee, for those that don't know, a food reviewer who has sprung up since the pandemic on his food reviews and having the resources or gaining the resources to be able to go out there and help. My question to Trigger Happy is, and again, this is just, a little friendly banter. What can the rich among our race do in the meantime? When things are not going right, or when things are not going wrong, when things are going right, what are some of the simple things that you think, Trigger Happy, that they could be doing? Trigger Happy also adds, this is why political education matters. We need not only our masses to understand the objective towards freedom, but the rich among us as well, in order for them to effectively funnel materials. Trigger Happy also adds, and if that does not bode well, they want to hoard their wealth. Black people should take their wealth forcefully in order for us to actually sustain our people and become a sovereign people. In the United States, huh? The goal for Black people, Trigger adds, is ultimately nationhood, whether in the diaspora or continent or autonomous and wealthy communities connected to a strong Africa with the K. All right, let's go ahead and welcome in our second panelist of the night. Cheryl, welcome to Shoot the Breeze episode 254. Hope you're well. How are you? And from what you've heard, what you've seen, and Anthony's thoughts, what say you? Again, Shoot the Breeze topic number 4, lights out and nobody cares. What's going on, Cheryl?
Hey, can I be heard?
You're loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Okay, good. All right. So I just want to start by saying that I know things like this happen in certain parts of the country, but it's like when you're from a state where this type of thing don't normally happen, I think it's hard to imagine like what are people like, how do they what do they do? Because especially with Black people, because Black people always have this thing where they're just like, well, we're the human race, right? But when stuff like this happens, what about that human race though? Because the Bible literally teaches, like, when you go to church, they say, "Oh, God accepts everyone. God provides for everyone if you just follow His teachings." But when you're placed in a situation where you're in an all-Black community and like things like this happen, and the government doesn't make any effort, it's not the fact that this is happening because of the natural disasters and whatever, but it's the fact the slow response. So I'm trying to make an intersection between what your religion says versus your reality, because this is the reality. Religion says, oh, protect, we're all human race, but your reality says that you need to stick together as a people, because these are like predominantly Black neighborhoods. So I'm just trying to make an intersection between the two, and I can't make an intersection because Black people, this happens to Black people every single year. From what was it Bakari that said that? They, if you live in Tornado Alley, if you live in like an area, around this time of year, these things typically happen, and these things been happening for years, and Black people still don't, like, a lot of us, we still don't have the sense enough to come together, and it's because we don't follow politics. I think that somebody said that, and we're stuck on this ideology that, oh, God will provide, God will provide, God will provide. But what happens when God don't provide? Like, it's like we can't function when it comes to that. And yeah, you do have some people who are prepared, right? And but the vast majority of Black people are not I don't know if this is making sense, but like the vast majority of Black people, I think, are not prepared, and you see them getting on social media and saying these things. I think internally they think God is going to provide for them, and He ain't, and He hasn't been since we since the transatlantic slave trade. I mean, it's just I was just making intersections here, and it's just interesting because I feel like the people that get on social media, it's like what, sometimes I'm just like, why now? Because this has been happening every year. Why now y'all decide to get on and I know people want to bring attention to it because you and for me, I think in the sense that that's good because bring attention to me because I don't normally see things like this. This to me is like I'm going in a survival mode right here. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that a people that go through something like this every single year will have more of a sense of um how do you say, you would think they would have more of a sense of like a racial like togetherness, like a community, but still we just this is one of those things where we every other race of people just come together when there's like natural disasters, when there's stuff like when stuff happens, they get with their people. We still have this thing where we're just like we and that's I, I I don't know. It's because when other stuff happens in other countries, they're not like, okay, yeah, we expect our government to do this and that. How come the government ain't doing that? We the only ones that get on social media and say stuff like that. All the other people are busy like coming together and doing what they got to do to survive and whatever like that. Like we the only ones that take to social media and say, well, this happened to us because we're in a it's predominantly black neighborhood and nobody's helping us. It's a lot of them not understanding where they are and why the response is so slow. You see what I'm saying? I'm feeling a lot of that, and what I'm talking about is not just this person right here, not in particular, but I'm talking about because I see this a lot on Instagram. It's a lot of oh they da 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 da. It's not no real political understanding of why it's not happening. You just get a lot of people that say, well, I'm American, so they should come help me. And that's the lack of political, like someone was just saying, that's the lack of political understanding of where you live and all of that. So I'm just trying to make all of these little intersections and it's not coming together for me. And I think it's not coming together because we have post traumatic slave syndrome. We don't understand the type of society that we live in. That's why we constantly take to social media and complain about the same thing every year. It's the same thing because we don't understand what we're in. And I'll just land my plane.
I appreciate it, Cheryl. Thank you. Thank you again for your thoughts. Thank you again for your comments. And thank you also for joining the chat today, man. I appreciate you, Cheryl. In the chat, Trigger says, the UNIA seem to have mastered this concept well of unifying the business class and the masses of Black working class people in a very efficient manner. China even took UNIA's method. This is an interesting issue because who's to say that next year they also don't have Gary, Indiana, like Anthony had stated, Shreveport, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Memphis, Tennessee, Flint, Michigan. Who's to say that if this happens, when this happens? I mean, weather is weather, and we are at this again. These are the things that I ask upon each and every one of us to think about and say, what are the little things that we can do to make sure that this is not such for lack of a better term, such a shit of a situation. You know, you got people on TikTok literally showing that, hey, I'm literally living like it's the 1800s. You know, when Anthony said that, this got to him. This got to me when I first came across this. I think I was made aware probably by Thursday of this week. And, you know, I had no idea. And you know, you're witnessing again this lady that's on TikTok that you see in the background turning off her lights, and literally it goes pitch black. You know, this is the nighttime. In the daytime, you know, I think that gentleman that was cleaning his home was stating that there's no school. And yeah, why would there be school? Man, what a nightmare of a situation. My question to you, Anthony and Cheryl, what if you do have any answers? Again, I'm not trying to put you two on the spot, but is there little things that we can do, you know, to make sure like something like this comes around and says, and then we say, okay, hey, cool. Well, not cool, but all right, this and this happened. We have the contingency plan to make this not as unbearable as it is. Again, please, the floor is open. The reason why I asked is just because, like you're stating, Cheryl, hey, and then also Cheryl, you know, I know that you had the religion aspect of this, but you know, maybe a question to you is this a religion issue, or is this just, hey, we're in a nation that has deliberately been at war with us for 400 years in this country? I know that's loaded, guys. Please answer what you will, however it is that in whatever order. But yeah, please, the floor is open for both of you two.
Yeah, I would say, like, this is a nation that has been at war with us, but we're not at war with it. So why are we not at war with it? Because we've been pacified by what? By their ideologies. So of course we're not going to be at war with it. And that's why when you see like situations like this, and I'm not talking about this person in particular, but as much as you see it on Instagram, it's the mindset. It's not so much that the storm happened, but it's what do you do in a situation when it happens? And I constantly see I see individualism. Like every once in a while, you'll see groups of Black people that'll come together, but they won't come together off of the basis that we need to come together as Black people. They come together on the basis that they are Americans, and I think that's my problem because okay, let's say Gary, Indiana, 85% Black, like we will come together with the one white we'll make it a point to come together with the one non-Black person in the neighborhood because they're American first. You help thy neighbor, help it doesn't matter what their race is. This is where it becomes a problem. We need to be helping each other based on race first, but we can't see past that because you're American first and Americans are Christian first. So this is where it becomes, you start to see the reality of the problem. And it's not just conjecture. We're not just talking about, oh, well, Christian this and Christian that. It's a way of life. It's a way of living. And people are automatically pacified to not come, Black people are automatically pacified to not come together based on the fact that we are all one Black people. They're not coming together based on that. And that's part of the problem.
Appreciate it, Cheryl. Anthony, any rebuttals or any thoughts on what I had asked?
Oh no, man! You know it definitely. No, we all on accord, man. There ain't no rebuttals. You know, we all on the same page. And I'm just saying it like it, you know, in the piggyback a little bit off of what our sister said, man. Look, let me just say this here. I know I'm gonna hurt some feelings, or I mean, make some people upset when I say this, you know. But I gotta say it, and it gotta be said. You know, like she was saying, like the sister was saying about us being religious and Christian, you know, whatever. You know what I'm saying? God sit up there and watch your ass be enslaved for 250 years. You know, God watch you Jim Crowed and lynched and all kind of convict leasing, you know, prison to pipeline from school to prison. He watched all that shit. My point is, he ain't doing shit for you. You know what I'm saying? And if I believe in any God, I believe in the one who said he helps him who helps himself. You know what I'm saying? So you need to help your own goddamn self. You need to help your damn self. Like I'm saying, we need to get off of that bullshit, and we supposed to stay prepared. And it's not like, okay, it's not like we didn't do that in the past. You could think of natural disasters and things that happened in the past in this country's history. You could think of all kind of them, yellow fever, all kind of stuff. Guess what? White folks were the one who wasn't prepared. Black folks was the one who was. And guess what? It was a black man or somebody, a black man or black woman who went up there and knew how to help the people with yellow fever back in the days. You know what I'm saying? I think it was a brother who came up with the cure for it. You know what I'm saying? Who saw the problem. You know what I'm saying? And it was always us because we were thinking, because you know what? We was already at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? We already got these hunkies put on our neck. You know what I'm saying? So we was always in survival mode back then. Even when we create our own towns and our communities or whatever, we was always in survival mode. But now we with this bullshit, like depending on the government and all that shit. No, brother, sister, we in war constantly. We've been in war with these people since we've been here. You know what I'm saying? We've been at war all the time. We have to always think about it. We are at war. And war takes all kind of things. Take all kind of phases. It ain't just let's go and just go wipe them all out. You know what I'm saying? It's slick ways, it's political ways, it's gerrymandering, it's all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's redlining, it's all kind of things. It's economic marginalization. You know, think about Gary, Indiana. This was a city that was an industrial hub at one time. It was an industrial hub. You know what I'm saying? Black people came up, they hey, y'all come on up, man. Yeah, you know, they didn't pay them what they paid these hunkies. You know what I'm saying? But it was a better economic situation than they were when they were down south. So they came up there, all of a sudden, okay, no, hey, let's move the industry up out of here, you know, into the suburbs or wherever. And now you got a whole bunch of black folks there, you know what I'm saying, who won't have jobs and everything, you know, depending on, you know what I'm saying? We know the story time and time again across the country in these different places, Detroit, everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So now what happened? Okay, this is a predominantly black city now. Okay, we don't give a damn about them. So when a natural disaster happened or whatever happened, well, you know, they're going to be the last ones we come to. You know, we ain't going to keep the infrastructure up. We ain't going to do none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Look at Jackson, Mississippi. You know, a city over 250,000 people. You know what I'm saying? 80% black. They can't fix, the state of Mississippi can't fix the water. Bruh, you black people get y'all ass together, put that money together, and y'all go and buy whatever you got to do and get y'all water fixed. Because we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? We can't do that. We can't depend on these boats. You at war. Jagadero, when you at war, who the hell depend on the enemy to help them out when they're at war with the same goddamn enemy?
A loser.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So, man, you know, we got to get off of this bullshit. We got to do for ourselves. And I know it's easier said than done, but we got to start somewhere, because if you don't, guess what? Well, you're stuck. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to be free or you're going to be a goddamn slave. You know, or you're going to have somebody's foot on your neck all the time. You can't, I mean, depending on a government or these agents and everything, okay, I understand. Okay, at a right now time, Jack and Deborah, right now, me and you, we brothers. We growing up in a household, daddy gone, whatever, mama, we struggling. We need some sisters right now. Okay, but that's a temporary thing. At the end of the day, guess what? Me and you got to get together and go out there. Mama said go out there. We got to go out there and get a hustle, get some kind of stuff to bring some money into our household. You know what I'm saying? I mean, to get our family afloat. You know what I'm saying? We got to do it our goddamn self. You know what I'm saying? You can't depend on shit. And I understand. I mean, you'll understand the sentiment of some of our people who like, well, no, look here. Okay, yeah, we Americans. This is America. We Americans. You see niggas going over there, floating Negroes going somewhere over there, helping white folks here and there, helping there. You know, but you help them, it won't help your goddamn self. We need to help our goddamn self first. Like I said, my mama told me, charity started at home and spreads abroad. You take care of home first. Black people, You got to take care of yourself first before you going out there doing all this other old bullshit. So about you American and all this old shit here. Well, you say that, but they don't look at you like that. You know what I'm saying? We got to take care of our damn self. We got to look up ourselves because we all we got. You know, black people in America, black people in the Caribbean, black people on the continent, we all we got. We got to work together and look out for number one. And we got to stop. We got to stop with this. And it's ironic that today, August the 22nd, you know, this is a day of remembrance that we give praise and reverence to the ancestors, you know, for kicking off the revolution in Haiti. You know what I'm saying? In 1791. What they did, they said, fuck all that. We ain't asking nobody to come and save us. We finna free our goddamn self. We finna save our damn self. So that's what we got to do. And I'll land my plane right there.
Woo-hoo! Absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, man, I believe like the planning started at that. I think it's ironic that planning for that revolution that kicked off, planning started at that AME church, Richard Allen and I can't remember the name of the other individual in Philadelphia. I believe the planning started there, but nonetheless, yeah, this is the anniversary of that. I almost forgot. How could I forget? But nonetheless, Cheryl, any last thoughts before we move on? Shoot the Breeze topic number 5. You let me know. All right. Well, if there isn't any more, Cheryl says 100. We good. So good. All right. Yeah. What a travesty. It was a nightmare of a situation. You guys heard Keith Lee. If you have any resources, you want to send anything, just go to Keith Lee at his TikTok and you can rewatch and get the information. And yeah, that's really awesome. It just sucks that a content creator has to do the job that, again, money is allocated towards. You know, these are the things that really frustrate me. You know, when things go wrong, like Katrina, Flint with their water situation, Jackson with their water situation, you know, it's oftentimes celebrities and or content creators or micro celebrities that have to step in, but your tax dollars are paying for this. You know, like at the end of it, your guys' tax dollars paying for this. How is that? How is my tax dollar? Again, something that is out of my control because I can't exempt myself. And if I do, then that's a negative on me. So my tax dollars are paying for this, but it's not working for me. But yet I'm paying the state. Maybe that's a part of a larger conversation here in the United States. All right, let's go ahead and move with possibly our last Shoot the Breeze topic. Shoot the Breeze topic number 5. It asks, was our architecture and sculptures just for quote unquote fun? Was it? I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze episode 254. Watu wa Kenya, Aje, VP Holly. This is the Better Medicine podcast on KWAZ Radio. Hit the like button. Like hit the like button, huh? You might not be Keith Lee, but the least that you could do is hit the like button, huh? That's helping out our community. So this Shoot the Breeze topic, before I get into the video, I think it takes us to Instagram. Yes, I think it takes us to Instagram. There's always debate. There's always wonder. Are African sculptures like the pyramids, the Zimbabwe stone sculptures or the stone arraignment, the Benin maze is what they call it. Nonetheless, all these things, somebody on Instagram asked the question like, hey, was our architecture and sculptures just for fun? Do we take it way deeper than what it is? I can only say so much about it. He says it better. And hopefully I believe that I have his Instagram handle so that way you guys can interact. I always like to pay deep respects to our content creators. So he asked us a question that maybe some of you guys have never thought about. Let's take a listen.
It be this type of shit, bro. Y'all see what I'm saying? It be this type of shit, bro. 600-700 years from now, motherfuckers gonna be confused, thinking we was giants and shit. Whole time we just used to be out here doing shit. That's like the Egyptians. Y'all be talking about, oh, they used to draw what they seen, and not, nigga, they just was being creative. Nigga, they wasn't drawing what they saw. They just was doing shit like we doing. Now motherfuckers gonna think we was that tall, our head was that long and shit. That's the shit I be talking about. Y'all just be doing shit. That's why niggas confused now, trying to figure out the pyramids and shit. They just was doing some shit they feel like doing. It ain't gotta be no purpose behind every fucking thing. The artist that made this, I read up on the shit, bro. The motherfucker says it's for you to look at it and think what you want to think. It don't have no purpose. It's not. It's called looking up, but it's for you to look at it and whatever come to your mind, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So y'all be in Egypt looking at these little things and shit like, oh, they had the nigga, they was just doing shit, nigga. They had an imagination like us. Y'all see what I'm saying? It be this type of shit, bro. 600-700 years from now, motherfuckers gonna be confused, thinking we was giants and shit. Whole time we just used to be out here doing shit. That's like the Egyptians. Y'all be talking about, oh, they used to draw what they seen, and not, nigga, they just was being creative. Nigga, they wasn't drawing what they saw. They just was doing shit like we doing. Now motherfuckers gonna think we was that tall, our head was that long and shit. That's the shit I be talking about. Y'all just be doing shit. That's why niggas confused now, trying to figure out the pyramids and shit. They just was doing some shit they feel like doing. It ain't gotta be no purpose behind every fucking thing. The artist that made this, I read up on the shit, bro. The motherfucker says it's for you to look at it and think what you want to think. It don't have no purpose. It's not. It's called looking up, but it's for you to look at it and whatever come to your mind, that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So y'all be in Egypt looking at these little things and shit like, oh, they had the nigga, they was just doing shit, nigga. They had an imagination like us.
All right. I know that this may or may not be controversial as I read these chats, but Shoot the Breeze topic number 5 asks, was art, architecture, and sculptures just for fun, whether in Africa, the Caribbean, or maybe if you're here in North America? We got Lil Carl _85. So if you want to go ahead and interact with Lil Carl, you can go ahead and do so. And the caption reads, that's why they ain't figured the Egyptians out yet, because it ain't shit to figure out. Probably have y'all ever thought about that? Before we get into our panelists' thoughts, Cheryl says, please cut him off. Cheryl, I know Cheryl's probably saying this to that gentleman, huh?
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
I wanted to have you guys end on something that, whether it's deep or not, that literally is the topic at hand, our possibly last final topic of the night. Trigger says, Europeans have their own art movements but basically with their own philosophies in it. Trigger says, but there was a purpose and understanding to African art that had a ritualistic and spiritual purpose to spiritual life during that time. Cheryl says, no, he's an idiot. All right. We'll start off with the firecracker herself. I'm not calling you a firecracker. Just, come on. I got to make it good. Cheryl. Cheryl, what's your thoughts here? Was our architecture and sculptures just for fun? Let me know.
I mean, we know it wasn't just for fun. This dude is high. He is high. He is high because look at what he's doing. He's comparing a black person who's been influenced by European culture today to African people 2 and 3 and 4, 5,000 years ago. That in itself is worthy of stupidity. Like that's dumb as hell. Like no, don't nobody, when people make art, especially back before quote unquote modern times, right? When they're making every culture that makes art is a reflection of their culture and and like what's around them. And yeah, everything does have a purpose. Like when remember like when Europeans came to Africa and they're like, oh, they living in mud huts. That's what white people love. Oh, they love to say that. Oh, the Africans are living in mud huts, right? But when the Europeans brought their modern art and they started building up high rises and high rise apartments and luxury apartments, what was the problem? You building up high rises and luxury apartments in places like Jamaica in Africa, and you're finding that the materials that you're using to build these things are overheating. It's making the apartments hot. It's making the luxury places that you're living hot. So what do you have to do? You have to overexert. You have to overuse your AC and things like this because you're not building for the environment. You're not building based on the environment. The people of the land who are indigenous to the land. This goes for Jamaica. This goes for any place there's African people. Before Europeans came, they built their houses, they built their infrastructure based on the climate. Because if you go into the so-called the mud hut, they're not really mud huts. That's just very arrogant, ignorant things coming from non-black people. These places are designed to be cool. They're cool. When you step inside of them, you're shielded from the heat. Automatically, you don't need AC because they use the materials they use the land. So it may aesthetically to a non-black person, it looks like it's quote unquote primitive, right? But it's not primitive. It fits the environment. And so that's why I don't like when black people get too caught up in modern stuff and maybe hey, with this little statue thing, maybe the person who built it, maybe they just did it. Black people like to nowadays get into abstract art. That's a very European construct. That's a very European thing to do, to just make something and it has no purpose. That is what a black person would do when they're alienated from their own culture. That's what they do. They just make shit for no purpose. That's what they do. Because everything has a purpose. And I land.
Hey, yeah. I mean, hey, you guys heard Cheryl, huh? Our ancestors were intentional, and intentional with a capital I when they did our sculptures and architecture. Huh? So please miss her with that. Anthony, based on what you've heard, what you've seen, what say you? Was our architecture and sculptures just for fun, quote unquote?
Okay. Hey, this was a funny one right there. Hey, that YN, he I think I'm agree with Sarah. I think he was high. But I'm saying, I think he had been smoking some of that good shit. But I'm okay. I mean, hey, but actually, what he was saying, in his way, I don't know if he understood it. But I mean, a couple of things. No, I kind of like. Okay, okay, let's bypass him though. Okay, but like, I agree 100% with the sister. Like, it's a video that I had, and it's a video that I found on. It's a brother. He's a Nigerian brother, and he has this site where he do I think it's Wabido, but anyway, he has a site where he reimagines ancient Africa, and he was doing a part about the about Benin, about ancient Benin, the ancient Benin city. The capital of the Edo people, the Edo Kingdom, the Edo Empire, and West Africa. Okay, and it was beautiful. He was showing how the city was laid out. The homes, the palace of the Oba, the walls, all of the infrastructure. Man, it was Jacadero. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. It was AI. The AI technology, but he was illustrating the story, and he was showing how. When those Europeans came, I don't know if they were the Dutch, I think. They came and they seen the city of Benin. They seen Benin City and talked about how remarkable the city was. How it had excellent avenues, broad streets and avenues. And the way it was, they said it was better than Europe, than the cities in Western Europe at that same time. You're talking about the 1400s, 1440s, 1450s to 1470s. You know what I'm saying? And you see the same thing all over the continent. Jacadero, work with me for a minute. You know, in Southern Africa, you have a people known as the Ndebele people, the Ndebele nation. You heard of them, Jacadero?
Yeah, the Ndebele. I don't know where they're from, but I've heard this name before.
They're from Southern Africa. They're from Southern Africa. At one time, they were a part of what is known as the Ndwandwe Confederacy. They were allied with the Zulu people. Everybody knows of their great general, Umzilikazi. Okay, he was the founder of the Ndebele nation. Okay, no, they settled in Zimbabwe. But the Ndebele, you see the Ndebele art. They have these beautiful homes. The Ndebele homes, they're colorful. They're real beautiful. You see the art, they're real beautiful, colorful homes. They painted on the outside, and they have this enclosure in the front that I think is kind of reminiscent, a throwback to the 19th century and before, when, you know, because they were cattle people. They had cattle. And so they had these what they call kraals where they kept the animals at. But like, if you see the Ndebele art, Google it up, the Ndebele people art, the houses of the Ndebele people, Jacadero, and see how beautiful they are. And I'm going to where our sister was saying how, she was alluding to how they served the purpose, the way they was built, the material that they were built out. You know, you hear these Europeans about all the mud huts, you know, this, you know, these hunkies that be and comment on black talk about all that when we was king shit and mud huts and all this old shit. But those houses, like those Ndebele houses, those houses in Mali, in the Bandiagara region of Mali, of the Dogon people, you saw the so-called cliff dwellings. You see how elaborate they look. They all served purposes. You know what I'm saying? Like the sister said, in the summertime, and you know how hot the African sun is, Jacadero. You know what I'm saying? In those houses, those so-called mud huts, it was cool as hell in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they work with nature and with the landscape, and they knew what it was. Right now today, Jacadero, you think I'm lying? Right now today, guess what? Europeans, like I said, they will co-op dog shit if they get some money out of it. Right now today, guess what? Europeans are now re-emulating in Europe, in parts of Europe. The African mud huts. Okay? Updated. They building them that because they finding out the advantages that they provided for African people in West Africa, Central Africa, in the African continent. Like how cool it was, you know, and how in tune with nature they was. You know, stuff like that. They now find it out. They say, "Oh man, we didn't know that." Well, we've been knowing that for thousands of years. We've been knowing that. You know, our architecture was never for fun. We lived along the equator. We lived in Africa. We lived in the equator, along the equator region. We lived in these different landscapes and climates, and we built according to where the places we lived at. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to build everything in stone in this here. You know, everybody they ain't building stone. We built in stone where there was stone at. These people don't know some places you didn't have a whole lot of stone at. You know what I'm saying? Some places they didn't have it. Some places they did. Well, how people say, okay, well, let's build Great Zimbabwe. Well, you know, it didn't start with Great Zimbabwe. Hey, hell, it was Mapambwe before then. You know what I'm saying? We talk about the pyramids. Well, before the pyramid was a pyramid, guess what? The pyramid was a mastaba. You know what I'm saying? Look at what the Pharaoh Joseph, what he built, what they call the step pyramid. You know what I'm saying? It was a gradual procession to where it ended up right here. Well, it didn't start off as the Great Pyramid at Giza. It started out with the mastabas, and it started out before then with the tumuli. You know what I'm saying? And different things. Okay, look at the Great Defufa in ancient Sudan, which you can still see. No, the Great Defufa at the city of Kerma. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you know, when I hear the European interpretation of our stuff, or I hear Negroes who really don't know what they're talking about, you know, trying to interpret our stuff, you know, and saying it was because it isn't. I mean, not adding context to nothing. You know, not studying. You know, that's one thing I agree about the Bible. Our people suffer for a lack of knowledge. We don't study shit. We don't study shit. You hear these Negroes right now talking about, we all seen the video of the old black preacher, that old Negro, talking about African man ain't never built nothing. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the pyramid. Well, that ain't Africa. That's white folks. You know what I'm saying? We ain't never built nothing taller than this and taller than that. You know, the Great Defufa was 300-400 feet high. Look at the Defufa, built by the ancient Nubian people in Sudan. I'm just saying, you know, it's just so much. It's you know, this is one of them subjects that we could go real far in. We did Jacadero before, you know, you came to the program a couple of years ago. Koku we did the same topic about architecture, about African architecture, and we was going from Cameroon to Chad, you know what I'm saying, to different parts of the continent where our people build beautiful and elaborate buildings and things, you know, in cities and all that stuff. We went everywhere. We had a whole segment about this, you know what I'm saying, and even how our architecture inspired what Cheryl was talking about, the abstract art that the Europeans had. You know, your Picassos and people like that, you know what I'm saying? Not only just the Dogon mask and all this, but the architecture, the funky ass architecture of the Dogon people, the buildings in the Bandigar, those hillside cliff dwellings that you see that are famous. You know what I'm saying? And a whole plethora of things. You know what I'm saying? Of architecture, African architecture, because it varies. What I'm saying, but yeah, you know, I mean, it's an interesting topic, man. And of course, we didn't do nothing for fun. We did things for practicality, and you know, a little bit style. Cause we African people, we black, we got swag, bro. We got swag. Hey, we got swag. Whether we on the continent, where we in Jamaica, in the Caribbean, wherever we got swag, and we got our touch. We do things. But yeah, you know, it was a funny video though, cause the brother had me laughing. You know, I was like, sure, y'all please stop him.
Yeah, man. Much love to the sister Cheryl, man. You know, when I first watched this video, it just says though that what I liked about the video, I liked a lot of things, but one of the biggest things that I liked is that he was curious. You know, it's oftentimes that the youth, I don't know how old he is, let's just say Gen Z, is that the youth get labeled as just being imbeciles, right? For lack of a better term, imbeciles. And so, you know, if it's not sports, music, or whatever.
Yeah, Jack, I'm sorry, Jack. Like I was saying, what I was saying earlier, I was saying he wasn't 100% wrong. I like some of what he was saying, you know, but he just did it in a crazy way.
You never know, you know, like you're saying, right? He did it in, you know, his way. It could be that years later, this guy ends up becoming an Egyptologist, and we want our people to be Egyptologists. You look at Egyptologists today, and a good majority of them aren't black peoples. I would love for Lil Carl 85. If you listen to the show, Lil Carl _85, you know, hopefully this inspires you to become whether an Egyptologist or any study of any African or Caribbean or Black American art or just anything in antiquity, because the fact that you even just had a question about, listen, this sculpture that's on your screen probably, you know, from the naked eye just doesn't have any correlation with ancient Africa, let alone Egypt. But he took it upon himself to say, hey, yo, 600 years from now, are we going to be questioning if this is what we look like, or if this was the direction, or this was the intention? You know, a lot of things can spark from what we might consider as insignificant. What I liked about it is the fact that he even just said ancient Egypt. Like, I can only imagine if he's in the car with some other friends, there's a chance that some of the other friends were like, whoa, where did ancient Egypt come from? You know, that, at least for me, when I watched it, I was like, where did ancient Egypt come from in this observation that you have? So, you know, big shout out to Lil Carl. I know that Cheryl says he's probably high. He might be, but nonetheless, you never know. You never know where inspiration can lead. Tragapi in the chat says there's an article on the website, Lisapo Yakama, and they talked about how this spiral shape was incorporated to the symbols of African rooms and housing. Also, Tragapi adds, you'll see a symbol a lot on African architecture, and you'll see it used to design the inside of the housing of African housing. Absolutely. The spiral is how the world came to be, how life came to exist according to most African cosmology. also Trigger adds, you consider how factuals were the basis of building a lot of African cities, and factuals are known to be helpful in terms of mental health of people whose life in this type of city designs. I can only speak for my village. We have a totem in my village, and that right there is intentional. And then I just found out, again, I'm from East Africa. The show is 254, so please, West Africans, please, guys, calm down. It's our day today. I kid, but I just found out just this week that the Andrinka, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the Akan symbols known as Andrinka symbols, like the Sankofa symbol, there's a whole alphabet. I did not know. Andinka symbols. I did not know that there was a whole alphabet for that. I had no idea, so if Lil Carl's listening, if you want to talk about intentionality, that's just one of many African alphabets. Another thing to think about, if I was to be on the opposition, I really tried my best to hear both sides of arguments. It does ask us, like, for instance, if he mentions ancient Egypt, they call it the Great Sphinx. Well, they say that the head of that, of the head of the body of the lion or the cat, the big cat, is from Khafre, I believe, Khafre, and because his dad was the one who built the Great Pyramid of Giza. And so why did he do that? Again, maybe Anthony, maybe Trigger has the answer to that. So could have that just been also for fun? If we don't have a definite answer on why they decided to put His Excellency Pharaoh Khafre to put his head on that big cat, I don't know. But I love conversations like these. Whether or not he was influenced, I don't know. Go ahead, Anthony.
Jagadero, say this word right here. I had two things I want to say to you. Okay, please. Say this word. From now on, look, let's not say we don't say the Great Sphinx no more. That's a Greek thing. The Great Sphinx. We say the Heru Maket.
The Heru Maket. I got you.
The Heru Maket. The Heru Maket. That's what they called. That's what it was called. The Heru Maket.
Okay.
The Heru Maket. I'll spell it for you. Okay, the Heru Maket. But look here, another thing. Since you mentioned East Africa. All right, you're East African. You're a brother. You are African from the east side of Africa. You from the east side, but we from the west side. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Okay, this is what let's get on East African architecture real quick. Okay, one of the most beautiful things that I've ever seen was some old photographs, some old art of the city of Kilwa. You know about the city of Kilwa?
Unfortunately, I don't. This is not a name that's familiar with me, Anthony.
Okay, the city of Kilwa on the coast of your country, from Kenya down to Somalia, on East Africa, what they call the Swahili coast.
Okay, I'm following you.
The Swahili coast. You had the city of Kilwa. You had Sofala, Kilwa, Sofala, Malindi, Mombasa, all of these cities on the Swahili coast in Kenya. And if you look at the first time I looked at the architecture and how beautifully laid down, they were blended societies. It was African combined with Arabic and with Persian and Indian, they influences, but they came together on the motherland of Africa. And these African people, what we do all the time, we absorb the influences that we come in contact with. You know what I'm saying? Sure. And they built these beautiful cosmopolitan city, the city of Kilwa. I seen those images of it, and I read how the Europeans and everybody, when they first came and seen it, and how beautiful and cosmopolitan, and that they were far better than anything in Europe. You know what I'm saying? How certain sultans of different eras, he had swimming pools and all, you know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Beautiful gardens. How the cities were laid out, the residential area and all this stuff. It's beautiful. I'm surprised you ain't read about that, about the Kiswahili coast. The Kiswahili coast is what the Arabs call the land of Zanj, the Zanj coast. You know, in the beautiful, when the Portuguese came there in the 1580s, 1590s, whatever, and they seen it, they got so beside themselves that these Negroes was living like they was in these beautiful cities, cosmopolitan. They were trading all across the Indian Ocean and even into China. You know what they did? They cities look better and they destroyed them. They fell on Kilwa and destroyed the city. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, go back and just look at how beautiful, you know what I'm saying? It's this whole image that we didn't build shit, but that we only built in straw and then build in stone. Go back and look at the images of the city of Kilwa and Malindi and Sofala and Mogadishu and Mombasa and all of these cities, man, and learn about what we did in our architecture, man. Go back and check that out.
Man, I got homework to do, huh? And I love it. I love it. You know, as a student of Pan-Africanism, I'm always learning each and every, especially every time that I'm on here. I'm always like, oh man, if it's not Cheryl, if it's not Matron, if it's not Trigger Happy, if it's not Anthony, if it's not Black Steel, if it's not Koku, if it's not Buana, Bakari, Kofi, Real Black Gentleman, man, Daily Affirmations, you guys are always teaching me stuff that, man, I got to do my homework on. So I'm so glad that, you know, every time I get to open my eyes, even when I think like I'm done with my things, I'm always like, oh, wait. You know, my brothers and sisters said this. I need to go ahead and research on that. And now I need to do my research on the coast of Kenya. You know, I'm a Luo guy. We're over there on the other side of Lake Vic. Well, let me give it its African name. Originally it was Lake Nyanza. So not Lake Victoria, but Lake Nyanza. Yeah, the Heru Maquette. The Heru Maquette is what I need to focus on. Okay, I appreciate it. Trigger Happy says, also a lot of African art in those museums are not meant to be in those museums, of course, but temples. They had a lot of functional use, and they were only for aesthetics. Trigger Happy's laughing. Why are you laughing, my guy? Why are you laughing? Huh? The Heru Maquette. All right. Well, speaking of knowledge, let's go ahead and get people more knowledgeable on what they should be made aware. And how do we do that? We do that with shout outs. We do it with shout outs, man. This is the time where you in the chat, not just our panelists, but you in the chat as well, give us something that we should be made aware of, Shout outs. Go ahead and shout something out, a person, place, or thing. Trigger Happy says, I meant to say that they were not only there for aesthetics. Mistyping. I got you, Trigger Happy. And then, it's Andinkra symbols and in Simbidi. Woo! Man, maybe I need to learn a West African language because my West African tongue, it needs work. But nonetheless, what doesn't need work is the shout outs, So Anthony, let us know what's going on, Big Dog. What's a person, place, a thing that we should know about? Go ahead and give your shout.
Okay, all right. First of all, we're gonna shout out Jacadero for being the host, man, and being a great host that you are. Shout out everybody in the chat. Shout out Sister Cheryl for coming up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out our brother Trigger Happy, you know what I'm saying? And I want to say real quick, okay, that Adinkra, you was talking about the Adinkra thing, okay, that Adinkra symbols. Okay, I want to also point out to you, Jacadero, about the Nsabidi writing. The Nsabidi writing was a writing system among ancient African people that goes back as far as 2000 BCE. No, it was based in what is now modern day Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? It was a writing system, an alphabetic writing system. You know what I'm saying? Called the Nsabidi. We also have, you probably heard of the Meroitic writing inscription among the ancient Kushites of Sudan.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we had to think about it. We wrote. They always like to say we was only oral people. You know, we were oral people, but we also wrote too. But I just want to give a shout out to you, Jacadero, man. You know, you're doing a great job, a fantastic job. You know, it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you, man, and dialoguing with you. And shout out to everybody, you know, in the chat, man. You know, and shout out to our brothers in the Sahel. You know, Trayor and Goita, You know what I'm saying? And Kansas and other brother, for still standing strong and doing what they're doing. And for African people everywhere, whether they're on the continent of Africa or in the diaspora here in the United States, the UK, France, wherever, all of us who are standing up and fighting for African people. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to us who are uncompromising, in every way. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to us. Shout out to the little people. It don't always have to be the big people. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to us small people, people who don't nobody know. You know what I'm saying? Who fighting every day. Who doing little small things. Even you know what? For helping each other. Shout out to Jacadero for the organization that he has in Omaha, Nebraska, working on the grassroots. Doing for the community. Anybody can get up in front of the camera and go and do this there. I'm doing this, I'm doing that there. Well, but the people who we respect and who I respect is the people like Jacadero doing stuff in Omaha, Nebraska. You know what I'm saying? Other people like Brother Bakari who do things in silence. You know what I'm saying? Who you don't hear about it all the time. You see remember he used to have his vlogs where he going around the black business. And he the one got me into like, yeah, man, support black business. I always did, but got me to even do it more. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to our brothers like the Forecast. You know what I'm saying? Who has a book out there, man. The history of racism. Talk about that. You know what I'm saying? It's the small people who we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the matron. Look at the matron's readings, man. Have you ever just sat down and just listened at the matron read? You know what I'm saying? Her voice is hypnotic. You know what I'm saying? The way she captured your imagination and the way she articulates everything. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the people who don't nobody know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the small people, us small people. And like I said, shout out to our brother Jacadero. Shout out to Koku, to Debwana, everybody, but shout out to Jacadero who's doing a great job. Jacadero, we love you, man. You keep on doing it. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Big respect to you, man, and you're doing a fantastic job. That's my shout out.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Oh, man. Again, it's like a comedian that just completely annihilated his set in a good way. He did a fantastic, got a standing ovation, and then you're like, damn, I gotta follow that. That's how I feel every time you guys talk, man. Whether it's Anthony, Buana, Black Steel, Kofi, Real Black Gentleman, Brother Bakari, Cheryl, man, anybody, man. I always gotta follow you guys. Cole in the chat, Trigger says always a shout out to the Sahel, the alliance states of the Sahel. That, for those that don't know, that's those guys of Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. That's Ibrahim Captain. I gotta give him his goddamn respect. Captain Ibrahim Traore, Assimi Gueta, and Abdul Rahman Tishiani. And then Koku also says good stuff, Anthony. My shout outs, it's a few of them, so let's bear with. Number one, shout out to you guys, man. You guys in the chat, you guys also in the panel, man. Trigger happy to the Revolutionary Matron, Daily Affirmations, Brother Bakari, Cheryl, Koku. Please forgive me if I'm forgetting anybody, Brother Bakari. It's one thing to just yap. I can yap with the best of them. The Gen Z, they call it yap. I'm a big yapper, but it's always awesome to it's live. This is almost like a radio. Well, I mean, it is a radio, right? It's KWAZ radio. What am I talking about? No matter what's wrong with me. But this is, it's one thing to just talk on the air and you're not getting any feedback. It's another thing when, you're just seeing stuff. And, I really was touched when Anthony said, thank you for bringing that Gary, Indiana situation here. It's stuff like that we can talk about the Caribbean. We can talk about Africa all day. But, there are stuff, because we're here. I'd say that, the largest African diaspora is the United States, right? 40 plus million strong. I think maybe the only one that rivals it might be Brazil, but nonetheless, that's huge. And so we have our good, we have our bad, we have our triumphs, we have our trials. And so to get those highlighted, and I almost wish that we could spend more time, but I get it. A lot of us have our own individual lives. So just the fact that we give that, hey, yo, this is on your mind. And then we get to see the good stuff, even out of the bad stuff, like Keith Lee literally partnering with whoever he needs to partner with and having the resources to say, you know what, I'm going to step up, I'm going to hold the line. So that's solid. So solid. The other shout out that I have is, this is a little bit old, but it happened, I believe, this month. For those that don't know, the Central West African countries of Equatorial Guinea and Gabon, they were beefing for 50 years, guys, for 50 years about, I guess they were arguing about, or just, they didn't come to an agreement about, I believe, oil and natural gases, because they're separated literally by a border. But the agreement came this month. They said, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and break bread. These are the things that I say that we often are showcased when we fight each other. That's okay, and that's there. But when we get along, when we end a 50-year feud, so if you guys want to do your research, Equatorial Guinea and Gabon, they ended their 50-year beef, and they said, yo, let's go ahead and break bread together. The other shout out that I have, it's from earlier this summer. I don't know why it took me so long to get to this, but for those that are aware, the Ebola strain that started around maybe April or March, it hit Eastern Congo and spread into Uganda. Well, the Ugandan health sector, by themselves, they were able to vaccinate the last person of this. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of that strain, but they were able to, it seemed like within 30 days, they were able to vaccinate the last person and completely eliminate this current strain of Ebola from their country without any help, without the World Health Organization, any other help, just the Ugandan health sector themselves. Guys, Garvey said it best. It was his birthday this week. You can accomplish what you will. Uganda was a standing testimony this summer by doing that. Solid. I just looked at that story because I was following it closely, because Uganda had its neighbors of South Sudan and Congo on the list of countries that could not enter the United States until they had like a 20-day quarantine. So if you just wanted to come and watch the World Cup, which the United States was one of the 3 countries that were hosting the World Cup, you couldn't even do that unless you were quarantined for 20 days. But Uganda said, don't worry, we got you. And again, without anybody else's help, they did it themselves. You can accomplish what you will. Huh? And then I'm just now getting attention that, they've been beefing over these islands over gas and oil, but nonetheless, they got together, the countries of Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. The last shout out, it's a combination of a shout out. Koku, thank you, wherever you are at. Thank you for entrusting me to do this. And I do this because I love it. I love being Black. I love being African. I've said it many times before. If Nyasai allows reincarnation, me and Nyasai going to have a problem if I don't come back as a Black person. We're going to have a big problem. I'm going to ask Nyasai, hey, let's go ahead and step out here and let's see how well you can dance. And that's not originally from me. That's actually a Lul thing. They actually threatened their deity long ago and said, like, I can't remember the exact story, but they were like, hey, yo, you need to meet our demands. So yeah, if reincarnation is real, if Nyasai doesn't bring me back as an African, we go talk, because I might be one of those sellout whites. But yes, nightmares aside, I love being African. And Koku, thank you for entrusting me. I love being Black, love being African. If there's 100 lifetimes that I live, 101 lifetimes I'm coming back as an African. And then you guys may or may not know, but Not only am I in Omaha, Nebraska. Oh, I think I'm being told I got to do a show on Louisville culture. Yeah, you know what? Because there's some interesting things that you guys don't know. I don't want to yap too much. You guys know I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. For those that don't know, man, we got a lot going on here. We're not only the home of Malcolm X, we're not only the home of the greats of, if you guys ever heard of a guy named Ernie Chambers. Yes, the longest serving senator in U.S. history. Yeah. We are the home of that. We're also the home of something magnificent, something extraordinary. What is that? It's the Empowerment Network. No big deal. We're just, the largest Black empowerment organization here in the Midwest. And what do? Somebody brought up Tulsa, Oklahoma, aka Black Wall Street. We partner with sister cities like that: Houston, Texas, Memphis, Tennessee, East Lansing, Michigan, Kansas City, just to say the least. How do we do that? HVAC, finance, real estate, youth crime prevention. Actually, one of our many different programs that we run is Youth 360. We partner Black high school students with Black high school mentors. You know how many people we've graduated? Man, come on now. Bro, I can spend a whole hour talking about the Empowerment Network. Do you want to get involved? Do you know somebody that wants to get involved? You see the ticker on the bottom of your screen, the Empowerment Network. That's www.empoweromaha.com. The website was just revised this year, and it's an awesome website now. New interface. The way that you navigate it is awesome. And then every year in May, we have the Rebuilding a Village Conference. Come to Omaha, guys. Come and see what Omaha is about and connect. Like I said, I told you about all those different sectors: finance, real estate, economics, HVAC, electrical, plumbing, you name it. Youth prevention. We have former gang members that are the head of our youth crime prevention programs. Former gang members here in Omaha, Nebraska. So they know exactly what it's like. If you have a teen that's at risk, if you have anybody that's at risk, man, reach out to us at Empowerment Network. That's www.empoweromaha.com. And with that being said, Anthony says, peace, everybody in the chat. Peace, Jacadero. Peace, Koku. Peace, Cheryl. And then we got a super chat. 10 joules. We got a super chat. What's going on, man? Do you want to super chat us? Bring it. I am Jacadero, proudly filling in for Brother Koku here on Shoot the Breeze, episode 254 on the Better Medicine podcast. Hit that like button, share this episode. There was a lot of jewels. Speaking of 10 jewels, there was an 11th jewel, and that was you hitting the like button, That being said, I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your guys' weekend. Khalid Muhammad said it best. Hold the line. Hold the line. God damn it. Hold the line. We end with this. Woo! Yes, sir. Ow!
Thanks for listening to the Bitter Medicine Podcast with your host, Koku. If you like what you just heard, we hope you pass along our web address, bittermedicineblogs.com, to your friends and colleagues, and share our show to all your social media. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts. This has been a KWAZ radio production. Join us next time for another session of the Bitter Medicine Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at Bitter Medicine Show, Twitter, Bitter Meds, Tumblr, Bitter Meds, Instagram, Bitter Medicine.